good son, Rugby League. We are on for another day. Me think it amazing. Hey guys, how you going? So down BKRsport, we are live as the Melbourne Storm take on the West Tigers in a big game here for the Melbourne Storm because, gee whiz, your last win was against the Dragons in round 2. You need to win this game here, Melbourne. It is beyond desperation times for you. You just need to find a way. And look, you've been given a dream game to finally try and get that first win, because the Tigers, despite how good they've looked so far this season, despite how positive their year has gone so far, unfortunately, they've got some injuries right now. They have got a lot of injuries that are going to hurt their chances in this game. And Storm, you just don't have any excuses, mate. I don't want to hear it, really. I really don't want to hear it. I guess your only real excuse is that Eliesa Katoa and Xavier Coates are not here, but outside of that, you should just simply be doing better. You have one of the best spines, if not the best spine of the game, but they're not performing right now. None of them really are, except for maybe Sualavi Fa'alongo, the youngest of the lot. However, Origin's coming up. Origin is just around the corner in about 2.5 weeks' time. So, it might even be 3 weeks' time, 2.5 to 3 weeks' time. So that means that surely we're going to see a performance out of Munster today. Surely we're going to see a performance out of Harry Grant here today. And Jerome Hughes will come back into the team. It's going to be interesting how it all pans out. But guys, the game starts in 30 minutes' time, so let's get through the two-team lineups here for today. Obviously, don't forget, we'll be live for the Raiders versus the Panthers game right after this as well. So, like I said, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe. Let's get into it. So the Storm, they come to this game from, gee whiz, number 16. 16th position, whilst the Tigers, they're in 6th position, and this is at Amy Park in Melbourne. You go to the ins here for the Storm, Jack Hetherington, Jerome Hughes, and Stanley Hewen, with the outs being Josiah Pahulu, Manaya Fatere, and Tyron Wishart. The fullback is Sualavi Fa'alongo. The wingers, Will Warbrick and Hugo Peel, with the centres being Jack Howard and Nick Meaney. The 5'8" is Cameron Munster, with the halfback being Jerome Hughes. The props, front row forwards, are Stefano Utuikamanu and Josh King, with the number 9 being Harry Grant. The back row is Sean Bloor and Ativali Lusati, with the 13 Trent Loiero. The interchange, Trent Toalau, Joe Chan, Davin Mawali, Cooper Clark, Stanley Hewen, and Jack Hetherington, with the coach being Craig Bellamy. It's now or never, Melbourne. It is now or damn well never. After this game, you do have the Eels next week. So it's actually not really now or never because you did already beat them by 50 at one point so far this season. You did already get an absolutely nice little clean slap up there. However, the point of the matter is that you just can't go and lose 8 games in a row, can you? That is just something that is unfathomable. But they have been playing like a team that could definitely lose 8 games in a row. Just because the Tigers have injuries today, I definitely wouldn't be guaranteeing that this Storm team's going to be getting a win. They won against the Eels for 2-4. They won against the Dragons for 46-20 when they were down 20-16 in the first 60 minutes, and then absolutely flew home the last 20, but that was because of the Dragons' errors, realistically. But then they're up 14-0 at half-time against the Broncos at home in round 3. And since then, that's their kind of last lead. That was nearly their last lead, half-time of round 3 against the Broncos. And then, obviously, they lost that game 18-14. Cowboys 28-24. Panthers 50-10. Warriors 38-14. Raiders 26-22. Rabbitohs 48-6. Dolphins 28-10. It just has been a nightmare. It's been an absolute nightmare. And it just hasn't been even close to looking like it is changing around. Last week, they did lead against the Dolphins, actually. They did. However, we had someone in the chat coming and saying the Storm are back, and I was like, hold your horses there, son. Hold your horses. They were leading in the game, but it didn't look anything like it. The Storm were back, and well, the Storm was still there because they did throw that one away, and the Dolphins won that one pretty easily in the end. So yeah, look, I just don't know. Even if I can back in the Melbourne Storm today. I really don't. Even though you want to say surely not. You want to say surely they just get this job done and fire up and fire on through it. You just never know, mate. You never know, and it's going to be super interesting to see how they go from their standards. But obviously, it's been a tough season for them, and they go up against a team that is pretty hot right now. However, lost their players. Now, the ends for the Tigers, Bunty Afoa, Charlie Murray, Heath Mason, Kai Pearce Paul, Maverick Guy, and Patrick Herbert. with the outs being Adam Dewey, Falatino Tavana, Samuel Fainu, Stafford Toa, Terrell May, and Tony Suka. The fullback is Heath Mason, with the wingers being Sungo Turova and Luke Labalii. The centres are Patrick Herbert and Taylor May. 5'8", Jerome Lua, who is the captain, with the halfback being Jock Madden, and then the front row forwards are Funua Bole and Bunty Afor, with the number 9 being Tristan Hope. The back row is Sione Fainu and Kai Paul. The 13 is Alex Twell. Interchange of Latu Fainu, Alex Seyfarth, Royce Hunt, Maverick Geyer, Jarrell Skelton, and Charlie Murray, with the coach being Benji Marshall, big old Benj. Look, the Tigers I've been happy with this season. Like, they are now back down into 6th position. They were at one point equal top of the table alongside the Panthers. Unfortunately, there's been a little bit of a slip over those last couple of games where, look, they did beat the Raiders 33-14. However, last couple of games, I'm including with that Broncos one, they have lost obviously to the Sharks 52-10. Now they have had injuries. However, you're just like, well, the Sharks are the biggest scamming dogs that I've ever seen in my life. They may be the biggest scamming dogs I've ever seen in my life. They're so much scammers, the Sharks, that Cronulla may be so much of a scam. They're now not even in the top of 9. You're gonna make me speak Italian again. You're gonna make me speak Italian again when I talk about the Cronulla Sharky. You're making me speak Italian. That's how much they're making me angry. They're making me very, very angry. The Cronulla Sharky, just a scam. But anyway, Tigers lost them 52-10. And the week beforehand, beat the Raiders 33-14. I didn't actually think the Tigers were that spectacular in it. However, they did still go and win that game quite confidently. But the biggest issue was losing that game to the Broncos 21-20. Now, the Broncos looked absolutely awful yesterday against Manly. Just awful. They had like 19, 20 errors in the game, which is ridiculous. That's like 10 errors a half. It is really, really poor stuff. The Broncos did get a couple of wins with all their injuries, but it now seems like those injuries are starting to catch up to them a little bit, and they're in a little bit of a dark place right now, the old Brisbane Broncos. So they've got a bit to get out of that. But the last 3 weeks have been questionable for the Tigers, which is why they're down now in 6th position in... Well, geez, that's a really loud motorbike. But now they're down into 6th position, and if they were to lose it today, they're not going to be dropping out of the top 8. But also the Dolphins, the Sharks, and the Broncos are within 2 points of knocking them out. You know, and the Tigers' points differential was like plus 90 at one stage. It's now plus 40. And look, if the Storm fire up here today, this is the thing with the Melbourne Storm, right? They're not expected to win. They're likely to win with the injuries here to the Tigers. Someone will find out for a while. Obviously, no Dream Buller. You know, there's no Apisai Koroisau. They're really all over. No Adam Dewey. 3 of their spine players are out. You know, this Tigers team will still put up a fight, but like the Storm aren't expected ultimately to win because we just don't know what we're going to see from them. We just can't believe in them at any point, any week at the moment until they go and prove it. But I do feel like if they just go and absolutely pump a team, and they just go and get an absolute big result for them, and they get back into the winner's circle, well, I don't know if I can see them changing it around, turning around to come into the top 8. I don't know about that. However, I could see them go on a massive run of form where they've got that confidence back. And I feel like the biggest issue with the Melbourne Storm right now is they have no confidence. You've got no confidence, Jerome Hughes. Cameron Munster is so low in confidence. Harry Grant, low in confidence. The whole team is low in confidence, except for, I guess, Suolavi Faulonga, who just keeps on cracking on. But I do just get that vibe that if the Storm can get that big, convincing win to get themselves back into the winner's circle, they could definitely go on a bit of a run. And you've got to remember, next week they play the Parramatta Eels. And then after they play the Parramatta Eels, hold on, let me just go back to their schedule. I'm looking at the Tigers right now. There we go. So Storm, Tigers, then Storm Eels, and then Storm Bulldogs. So their next 3 rounds, inclusive of this round, is actually really, really good. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if they go and win this game, let's go and say the Storm find their form, they find their feet, Tigers are injured, they go and win this game by 40. Well, then they go to the Eels next week, and I'm telling you, at Magic Round, the Storm, I feel like, will just absolutely fire up there in a stadium that they usually win in. And then the Bulldogs, don't even start me, Bulldogs. I'm not even going to be able to watch this. I'll be honest with you guys, I will not be here to stream the Bulldogs versus Storm game because I'm not surviving Cronulla versus the Bulldogs next week at Magic Round. I'm not surviving the game. And I'll be surprised if you guys survive it, to be honest with you. I am not surviving Cronulla versus Canterbury at Magic Round next week. That is the battle of the scammers. That is the battle of the absolute schmucks right now. And gee whiz. Gee whiz, that is an absolute horror show. That is a nightmare. So anyway, long story short, we're going to go back to the point that we're making here, and that I do genuinely believe that if the Storm win this game here well today, I think 3 wins in a row going into that Roosters game, which is right on afterwards, and then the Knights, it will at least give them confidence to maybe compete with the Roosters there and fire up. And if they do find a way to win these next 3 games, and then the Roosters game, well, they'll be back in the top 8 contention. However, you can't even be talking like that right now. Like, you just can't. The Storm have shown nothing to prove that. I just know they've got the team there that if they get that confidence building win and they remember how to win, they find that way to win, they remember how to win, they definitely can just really turn in some form. So we'll have to wait and see. But look, today, guys, with the injuries to the Tigers, no Jareen Buller, no Godoi Sau, no Adam Dewey, no Samwalafonu who's massive, Stafatoa out, Terrell May massive out, gee whiz. Oh, I have to go Storm 13 plus, and I hate to say it, I really do. I'm going to have a heart attack just saying that. I might actually have a heart attack just saying that I'm saying Storm 13 plus here, because I said for the last couple of weeks, I'm never tipping a Storm again, and then I still found a way to just go against the grain and go, you know what, I feel like the Storm might win this game against the Dolphins, and then bing bong, they did not win the game against the Dolphins, and I said, you know what, I'm never tipping them again, and then I'm here again the following week, tipping a damn well Storm. I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how I'm doing this, but I have to do it. Like, the Tigers have got too many injuries. If they lose this game, this is the last weekend with this microphone. I'll be getting a new one once this today finishes and the round finishes up. But I don't care how successful you are, Melbourne. I really don't. Like, if you lose this game to an injured Tigers team, we are relocating you to Tajikistan. We are relocating you maybe to Kazakhstan. I don't care where we're relocating you, but you're out of here. You're out of here, Bucko. Pal, Champa, Buckaruno, you're out of here. You lose this game. We are relocating your franchise. Maybe give it to Darwin. Maybe that's the play. That's what we'll probably do. You can't lose this game to the Tigers with all their injuries. You just can't do it. So I'm going to take Storm 13 plus here. If you disappoint me, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Now let's move over to the ladder here. The Melbourne Storm, they're in 16th position on 4 points. If they lose this game, well, they're on minus 62 points right now. They points differential. They lose this game, they will stay in 16th position, and the Dragons are still 2 losses behind them, but 2 points behind them because they have their bye, and that will be kind of all she wrote, really. She'll be down there in 16th, and she won't be moving anywhere, the old Melbourne Storm. But if they win this game, they would go above the Titans into 15th position, and that is exactly where they would stay. They'd be equal with the Titans on 6 points. However, both the Titans and the Storm have a minus 62 points differential. They're both smack bang on the same level as each other there. So if the Storm were to win this game by 1, they would go above them regardless. And no matter what, a win will put them into 15th position. But I think you can expect a little bit better from the Storm on a season than to be celebrating that. However, you would be at a second last there. So there's literally only one spot that we could see the Storm go this week. That's one spot above. That's only with wow, jeez. I can't. They're still so far behind the top 8, man. Like, even if they were to win a couple of games in a row, I still don't even know if I'd even put them there. But anyway, long story short, 16th with a loss, 15th with a win. On the other side of the table, this is where it gets a little bit spicy because, geez, this comp is all over the shop right now. The Tigers are in 6th position with 12 points. They're equal with Manly, the Cowboys, and the Knights. Now, Manly have a plus 79 points differential, the Tigers plus 40, the Cowboys plus 9, and the Knights plus 4. If the Tigers were to win this game, and we do relocate the Melbourne Storm to Tajikistan, then that means that they would go above Manly into the top 5. They'd go equal with the South Sydney Rabbitohs, but the Rabbitohs are plus 92, whilst the Tigers are plus 40. So that is a 52-point win they would need. That's not happening with their injuries. It just simply is not happening. So they would finish in 5th position for the weekend. It's tied on points with the Rabbitohs, but they would be in 5th position due to that points differential. However, if they do lose this game, Now, don't lose it by a lot, is all I'll say. If you lose by 31 points or more, you go below the Cowboys. If you lost by 36 points or more, you go below the Newcastle Knights, and you would be in 8th position. And then if you were to lose by that 36 points or more to go below the Newcastle Knights, yes, you would be in 8th. However, well, next week, who do the Tigers play at Magic Round? Because next week's going to be a really big telling week for a lot of clubs. So next week for the Tigers, they play Manly. Jeez, that's a tough one. Manly are playing some good footy right now. I know people are really liking to shit on Manly and saying, oh, well, who was it? It was the Broncos. And, they were on my same wavelength for the 4 games heading into that Panthers game. But now people are just apparently forgetting about the Panthers game where Manly did look really, really good. Anyway, long story short, that's not an easy game, Tigers. So you would go into 8th. Now, the 3 teams that are below you, the Dolphins, the Sharks, and the Broncos, they're on 10 points. They would, except for the Broncos, both the Sharks and Dolphins would have a better points differential than you. Now, the Sharks versus Bulldogs game, the Sharks can absolutely and probably should absolutely win that game, but they are scammers for a reason. But they can and should win that game. So if you don't win this game and you lose by a lot, and then you lose that game to Manly next week, which I'd be tipping right now Manly. But if you were to go and lose those 2, the Sharks next week would have a good chance of jumping you. And then the Dolphins play the Rabbitohs. Now, that's a bit of a difficult one, so you might still stay up there in that 9th position. However, you'd really start to come back down to the pack, and you don't want to lose all that solid, unbelievable momentum that we have seen so far. It has been really good momentum for the old Tigers. So just don't, if you lose this game, I do expect you to lose it, but don't get rid of that points differential. Because we've seen this year that teams have gone from having pretty unreal points differential to very quickly losing it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised ultimately if there was like an even up game against Manly and Manly's points differential just went whack. We have seen it with the Tigers, who were quite high up there, minus plus 80 to 90, whatever it was, and then they obviously got smacked by the Sharks last week. We have seen it with the Cowboys, who are quite high up there. The Knights did have a really good points differential, like plus 60 at one stage maybe, and now they're plus 4. And the Broncos are now minus 27. So it does happen very quickly, because that's in the last few weeks, maybe last month or so, 3-4 weeks, we've seen teams with good points differentials just get absolutely hit for 6 there. I'm looking at the crowd here. Now, there is still 13 minutes to go here in the game. I really hope that it gets much larger, man. Because if this crowd doesn't get much larger than this with 13 minutes to go, I'm telling you, you are being called the biggest bandwagon fan base on the planet Earth. And this is when we see who your real fans are, when you're on 7 losses in a row. So, please, for the love of God, I beg that Melbourne Storm fans actually turn up here today. Because otherwise, you're just going to get absolutely ripped. And I'll never trust you as a fan base ever again. Except for a couple of people. Except for a couple of people I know, I'll never trust them as a fan base again. And my concerns over the last couple of years, where I keep saying I need the Storm to suck for once, just so I can see how many fans turn up to their games. Well, that didn't look great just then. But anyway, we will see. So, guys, obviously hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new around here. We've got the Raiders versus the Panthers game right after this. And that will finish us up here for this weekend. And then we've got a massive weekend of Magic Round next week. We start off with Game 2 of the Women's State of Origin on Thursday. And then we've got to start it all off with Bulldogs Sharks, I'm pretty certain. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Oh, Friday next week. Oh, the early game is Bulldogs and the Sharkies. Oh, God help us. How are we going to survive that? But all right, let's get in the chat and let me know what your thoughts are in regards to this damn well game. Kokomu says tips are cooked. I don't know if anyone's had good tips this year. If you win the NRL.com tipping competition, if you find a way to win that, unbelievable. Like the amount of unbelievableness about you being the best tipper in Australia / the Pacific / the Southern Hemisphere / the world is just unfathomable to think about, because it is so hard and so difficult to tip at the moment. It really is. This week so far, so I did actually think the Bulldogs would be able to find a way. So I did take the Doggies, but the Dolphins were the favourites, and most people would have done the Dolphins, so that's not like a surprise, right? And we said that at the beginning. Titans Roosters, I did tip the Roosters head-wise, but obviously I'm a Titans fan, so my heart backs the Titans, but I did tip the Roosters if you listen to the stream. I did say the Eels could get up. I did say it. I did say 1 of 12, but I also did tip the Cows because they should have won the game. But they didn't because they're also fraudulent. So that was a hard game, and I think most people would have tipped the Cowboys there because on merit, Cowboys should have just been whipping that game. But I did say before the game started, the Eels were expected to be at least like maybe 8, 9, 10 range, and the Cowboys pre-season were expected to be 17, 16, 15. So pre-season wise, it makes sense that result there where we all thought the Eels would be a lot better than what the Cowboys are. However, throughout the season, the Cowboys have obviously so frustrating, dude. It is so frustrating, dude. Oh my goodness me. Again, guys, this will be the last time you have these mute problems because I am going to be tomorrow buying or maybe even later on today, buying a wireless microphone because it does really grind my gears, especially when I'm in the middle of like a conversation and I'm trying to get a point across. It really grinds my gears when it does go onto that mute. So don't worry, from tomorrow, it will change around. Hey Nady, bro, I'm probably gonna hide you, man. If you can't just involve yourself in the conversation in this chat and just be a normal human being for one time in your life, we're just gonna hide you, man. So I'll give you one little I'll give you one little one little time now that you can have that comment. But if you're just going to continue and just be a dickhead, then I will just hide you, man, because this has been a common theme from you over the last couple of days. So I just wanted to give you that warning. But it's up to you. Like if you want to stay in the chat and enjoy the games and enjoy the stream, feel free, bro. But if you're just going to be a knob, then we'll just get rid of you. But yeah, anyway, guys, so the microphone's going to be coming in tomorrow or later on today, so it'll be sweet from next week because it's just so annoying, bro. It's so annoying when I'm trying to have a conversation. But anyway, to continue on with that conversation, the Sharks and Rabbitohs game, the Rabbitohs 100% shouldn't have been winning that game yesterday on merit. They really shouldn't. But they obviously did because the Sharks are scammers because they had all those injuries, the Rabbitohs, but yet they still looked really good. And the Manly Broncos, I think it would have been a 50-50 tip fest there. The Broncos with their injuries, but the Broncos have been winning games recently, even with their injuries. So Nady, we'll catch you, bro. There's plenty of other places that you can kick around for the games. Catch you, bud. Jimmy says remove Sharks from scam. Listen, Jimmy, I'm going to need you to sit down for a second. I'm going to need you to put a seatbelt on. I'm going to need to hold your hand when I say this. I'm going to need to hold your hand when I say this about the Cronulla Sharks coming off of scam. The answer is fuck no. Yeah, that's my answer to the Sharks coming off of scam. Because the only reason that you can't see a scam here is because this team is not in the top 9 right now. They are outside of this table, so you can't actually physically see the Cronulla Sharks because they are that much of a scam, Mr. Jimmy. They're that much of a scam. So absolutely not. Absolutely not. That will not be happening, Jimmy. No. That will not be happening. Home in the NRL says, Big Bunty chant whenever he runs the ball. Yeah, get around the big bunt off the back fence today. Fire up. Mo says, how much does that cost? I'm not too sure. Like, the really good, like, there's literally where I'm staying here in Ho Chi Minh, there is actually a microphone store, like a DJI microphone store just around, like, a 2-minute walk from me. I'm pretty certain it's about equivalent of 200 AUD for the one that I want to get. 200 AUD. That'll be solid. Like, I could just go and get a wireless mic for like 100, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather put in I would rather pay for the better one, and it's only $100 more, and it is just a wireless mic that can stick onto my shirt here, and that won't stop. So yeah, that'll be, and then I can have a separate headset just by itself, kind of deal. That's what I'm going to do. So it's better to buy that than to have to keep muting and unmuting, man. It's just so annoying. I hope a shark eats your pizza. Not my pizza, Jimmy. Come on, man. Yeah, I love my pizza. Pizza is one of my favourite foods in the world. And you're telling me you want a shark to eat my pizza? If a shark does that, they're not on scam. They're being removed from the table, and we are sending you to the Antarctica to be the Antarctican penguins. We will send you. We will send you to the Antarctica to be the Antarctican penguins because I'm really getting quite sick of it. I'm getting quite sick of it with the Altamwell Sharkies with the scam. But Mo, boy, he's absolutely slapped it up here. The big old Mo with a $100 donation says, there you go, have yourselves. Mo, you are a legend, son. You are a very big legend. I appreciate you for the support there, man. We'll definitely be getting it. And, well, it does benefit you guys, to be fair. Like, when I do have this new microphone, it does benefit you because then you don't have to keep going mute. And then sometimes I won't see it for like 5 to 10 minutes. Well, not 10 minutes, but 10 minutes is ridiculous. Like 3 to 5 minutes. So I appreciate that, Mo. It's great to see that you enjoy the channel, you love the channel, and thank you very much for the support. And also, Scotty James, the $5 donation says, donate for the new mic. Since we're 10 rounds in now, do we see Manly and Broncos making the 8? Jesus Christ is king. Jesus Christ is king. I love that, Scotty. And thank you for the dono. Manly, right now, they're in a chance if they keep on firing up here. Like, they're in a chance for in that 4th spot because right now you're looking likely to see Panthers, Roosters, and if the Warriors continue, the Warriors in that top 3, and then that 4th spot. The 4th spot is really open. The Rabbitohs are looking good. Again, Manly have looked seriously positive. I just think the injuries are going to hurt the Tigers' chances here. Don't start me on the Cows. Could the Knights do it? Oh, jeez, we're going to have to hear it from Brenton, aren't we? We're going to have to hear it from Brenton. I don't think so. I still think they're very up and down. But when they're up, they're up. When they're down, they're pretty down. So right now, that 4th spot, as we currently speak, I'm probably going to go live tomorrow for a updated ladder rankings. But as we currently speak, it's probably Rabbitohs, Manly, at a push Tigers, and at a push Knights for that 4th spot, unless you see a Raiders team fire up, unless you see a Broncos team fire up, and I'm not talking about your Cronulla. So, Manly, I do have as a top 8 team, and I think there's a sneaky shout of a 4th if they can keep this form up and momentum up under Fosball. And I did post a YouTube short about that here today. And then we go to the Broncos, and surely they make the 8, man. Like, they've got it. They're in a real big situation because they've had to lose Reece to Origin too. But they're really in a situation in regards to injuries and whatnot. But I've probably still got them for the top 8. But the top 8 is really difficult to read right now. There's a lot of teams that could make the top 8, mate. Roosterman said, but anyway, thank you for the donos, guys. Roosterman says the bunker calls on Friday night are a scam. Roosterman, why are we doing this? Why you remind me of it? So Jimmy is having a little bit of a cry right now. I think he's actually seriously having a bit of a cry about the Sharkies being a scam. He says, I hope this guy remembers when the Sharks absolutely had diarrhea over the tits. Congratulations. Everyone absolutely smashes the Titans. I love my Titans, but I'm going to be one of the first people to criticise them, man. So you don't think that don't think that gets me. You haven't got me by saying, oh, Sharks beat the Titans. Well, you're expected to damn well beat the Titans. If you didn't beat the Titans, we would have already relocated you to Afghanistan. If you lost to the Titans in round 1, we would have relocated you to Tanzania, mate. So you should be grateful that you got that big win there. You should be grateful that you got the old damn win against the Titans that we all expected you to get. Because otherwise, we would have sent you to Africa and you would have been playing in the South African League. All right? So that's what would have happened if you lost to the Titans. We're all well aware of that. We're all well aware of it, son. But the issue is that if you're not first, you're essentially damn well second last. You're not last. Because last you do win something, you do win a wooden damn well spoon. But second last wins nothing. Second also wins nothing. So if you're between second and second last, you win jack nada. And you're not even close to second. And we're not even close to second. We're closer to winning something in the wooden spoon than you are to winning anything. Would you rather win something or would you rather win nothing? I'm going to say I'd rather win something. If I'm going to be bad, which both the Sharks and Titans are right now, I want to be the worst. I want to set the platform. I want to set the foundation for being the worst. I don't want to be just bad. You know what I mean? What do you mean? You want to be the worst, and that's why I congratulate the Dragons fans, because you guys are clearly the worst right now. You are really, really bad. You are really, really, really bad. So if you're going to be bad, be the worst, set those expectations high, and really suck it up. And I can tell you right now, the Titans are doing better than the Sharkies at that one. But then again, you are still scammers, massive scammers, yes. Home the NRL is pretty crazy, the change in the performances from Manly since foreign, especially when the Dragons arguably got worse when they moved on Flanagan. I think the Dragons is still the same, man. Let's not pretend like Flano. Like it wasn't all Flano. It just wasn't. It wasn't all Flano. However, let's not pretend like now the Dragons are worse because Flano was gone. Flano was not holding them together. They were still like 7 losses in a row or whatever. They've still lost like 14 games in a row or something like that. 13, 14 games. They haven't won since they beat the Sharks in like round 20 last year. So let's not pretend that Flano going has changed them for the negative. However, with Manly, Anthony Seibold, I criticised from the very moment that he was originally signed with Manly. So that's a bit of a different story. The Dragons are a shambles because of organisational things and too many chefs in the kitchen and all this kind of stuff, right? Very different story for mine. So whilst I appreciate what you're trying to say, Manly and the Dragons is such a different story. Like, Manly's not a merger. Home of the NRL says Manly do have a better squad, but still, correct. Ibrahim says Storm should win this considering how depleted the Tigers, this Tiger side is, but you never know, the Sharks found a way to do it. Sharks did find a way to do it, and they did it in spectacular fashion. But then again, the Rabbitohs have been really good this year. And so are the Tigers, but the Tigers did get beaten 50 points by the Sharkies last week, who are the biggest scammers on planet Earth. So I have gone Melbourne 13 plus here, but again, if they do lose this game, I'm blocking them on social media, and I'm never watching a game of theirs again. And also, Storm fans, what is this crowd? What is this crowd? What is this crowd? What is this crowd? This is pathetic. Have a look at them. The game has started here, guys. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Let me refresh this this live score here. What is this crowd, Melbourne? My concerns have been proven right over the years. If you've been watching me for years on this channel, you would know that I've heavily criticised saying that the Storm, well, it's great that they have a lot of fans down there and all that kind of jazz and good memberships. Well, that's because they've always been successful. Let's wait till they have some unsuccessful years and we'll see the crowds drop off. We've only had to see 7 straight rounds of it. Not even half of a year, and we're already seeing a pathetic crowd here. You watch, if they won this game here today, and then they won next week against the Parramatta Eels at Magic Round, you watch them get a massive crowd again in 2 weeks' time. This is pathetic. This right here tells you that there is so many fans who will go, you know what, I'm going to go to the AFL instead, or I'm not going to go to the Melbourne Storm here today. This is so disappointing for mine. Peace says, yesterday the Dragons are 10,000. 100% that happens. And the Dragons have definitely dropped off in memberships and numbers over the last couple of years. So the Storm now third tackle are going to bring this board to the 43. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. That happens. And penalty to the Melbourne Storm here. That's huge for them. But it's just so frustrating to see because the NRL have given you everything, Melbourne. The NRL over the last 20 or 30 years have given you absolutely everything. Obviously, we know what happened in the late 2000s, but the NRL have given you everything to be a successful platform. They've provided a really solid foundation for you guys to be a dominant force off the field and on the field. And within 10 rounds of a season, you're already showing this crowd on a Sunday. On a Sunday at 2 p.m. Come on. Second tackle at 24. Do you guys believe that I'm unfair to be criticising like this? Do you think it's an unfair thought process? I don't think it is. But I'd like to hear your thoughts. 6 again here for the Storm. It's first tackle at 15. Rye Rice has come on Tigers. Well, good luck here, man. It's going to be tough for you. If you get a win here, this will be a massive win for you with all your injuries. So second tackle here at the 10. Harry Grant, Jerome Hughes, Stefano Tukamanu. Try time. No. 1 metre short. Jeez, I thought that was a guaranteed try there for Stefano. Harry Grant, he'll go out to the right-hand side, Nick Meaney, and he is going to get away from 1, and then gets the offload away to not Will Warbrick, that's Lissati of all players, not even anything like a Will Warbrick. 4 tackle, 3 metres away from the line. Harry Grant gets it to Jerome Hughes. I'm back in a monster try here today. They go to the left-hand side. Here we go. Try time for Sualawi. Fa'along. Go. Sualawi, Fa'along, go. Sualawi, Fa'along, go. Sualavi, Fa'alogo. Try to top the Storm. 4-0 with a kick to come. Yikes. Yikes. Harlan says, I've tipped Tigers. Why? And Raiders, because I feel like my tips are already going horrible. Yeah, well, you're maybe about to have another horrible day here then, Highlanders. I think that's telling us another story. So you've tipped the Tigers and the Raiders, two heavy underdog teams. The Raiders are in the sixth last right now. The Tigers are in the top 8, but they've also got Adam Dewey, their halfback, gone. Api Saikotowi Sau, their hooker, gone. They've got Jareem Buller, their fullback, gone. Their wingers are all over the shop. They have lost someone of Fainu. Who else? They've lost Terrell May. Like, what are we really expecting here to the Tigers? I think on its own merit, like if they had a full strength team lineup, bang bang, Tigers could have absolutely slapped this up. But they're without a lot of players here today, man. A lot of players. So I'm really not too sure how we've gone with the Tigers there. But then again, the Storm have shown that they are shocking lately. Pesa, yesterday the Dragons had 1,000. Oh, wait a second. You were talking about yesterday. The Dragons had a great crowd on that hill yesterday. It looked really good. The hill was absolutely packed yesterday. What's the capacity at Wollongong then? And Nick Meany will miss the kicks. We'll say 4-0 here 4 minutes into the game. Jess says, be gentle today. I'm very delicate. Mega hungover after a fantastic win by Wigan yesterday. Good stuff, Jess. Well, I had a big night last night too when Man City got a massive win over Brentford. Geez, they made it really difficult for us in that first 50-60 when Phil Foden came on. Oh my gosh. Jeremy Doku. I may be in love with Jeremy Doku. He's scoring a banger every single damn ball game at the moment. That is keeping this title race alive for us. And I really hope West Ham can win tonight. But it's good to hear that Wigan got a nice little win for you yesterday. Good to hear. Aspect says, Pete, yes, but Storm have a whole state and half those fans live like an hour and 30 from win. Yeah, exactly. Half of the fans of the Dragons do live in a whole different area to Wollongong. Whilst the Storm, all their fans do live in the same, effective area. Again, like, I know probably about 4 Storm fans, like genuine Storm fans. Sally, one of my longest subscribers here on the channel, third take a look at the Storm at the 25. Sally Gearin, she subscribed to me since like 2016. When I was just, posting Titans vlogs and whatnot. My first ever Titans vlog was a Titan Storm game. I think that's how she came in. Fourth take a look at the 30. So Sally, my boy Uncle Tix, even though he's from Hamilton, he's a Storm fan. 6 again here for the Melbourne Storm, and they're going to beat the 40 on their own side of the field. I know Shay's league, I'm pretty certain she's pretty passionate about the Melbourne Storm. I see her post all the time on Insta. There's one more, but I can't really think of it right this very second. But there's one more that I know as well. Second tackle of the Melbourne Storm at the 42 on the Tigers side of the field. Win capacity is 23,750 to answer your question. Okay, well, that's interesting because it looked like a packed crowd yesterday. It did. Third tackle, Harry Grant's going to go to the right-hand side of Sualavi Falongo, and he's going to bring this ball through to the 15. Oh, this is looking like it may get ugly if the Storm can score again here. This is looking very ominous for the Tigers. Harry Grant at the back here to Jerome Hughes, kicks his ball over to the corner. Will Warbury catches it, and he will score. Try time, 8-0 with a kick to come. Well, Highlanders, good luck with your Tigers tip today. 8-0 to the Storm with a kick to come. Will Warbrick away too easy, and he is on the try scorer sheet. Way too easy at the moment. Bag says, hey mate, it's me from the comments saying, what do you think about the Broncos? So look, the Broncos are in a bit of a tough spot right now, man. So the Storm scores 8-0 with a kick to come. The Broncos are in a bit of a tough spot. They're without quite a few of their players, but this is kind of what we saw last year. This is the exact same situation we saw last year where, even when the injuries, they did have a sneaky couple of wins and people were kind of getting behind them, but I always emphasize, sorry, a little bit of a shot. I always emphasize that you can't rely upon and expect the comebacks. You can't, as a club, expect and rely upon the comebacks. Oh, it's a specky there from Will Warbrick. There's the AFL Melbourne in him. There's the AFL over there. He's off to the Warriors next to you, Warbrick. But you can't expect that comeback, whilst the Broncos, I feel like, they do expect the comeback, and that is a recipe for disaster. Now, granted, the Broncos did win the comp last year based off of comebacks and whatnot in that last, month and a half to 2 months of the season. Even though even halfway through the season, you could already see them have that comeback against the Sharkies. So, I'm really struggling to see what the Broncos are going to do over these next 5 to 10 weeks because they do have injuries. Origin is here. They're not going to lose an amazing amount of players to Origin, but they'll probably lose Paddy Carrigan. Reece Wall. Well, maybe probably Paddy Carrigan. He's still been sold this year. Meany will miss the kick, so it stays 8-0. They will lose Reece Walsh. They probably won't lose Staggs, but this potentially could go to the centres. I don't think so, though. Do you lose Ben Hunt? Does Ben Hunt still make it? I reckon he does. But I'm not too quite sure there. And Payne Haas, he's either injury or he's off to Origin. So it's a difficult situation for Brisbane. I still probably have them for the top 8 because when they're on, they're on. But you can't expect that comeback. You just can't. Steve says Storm going to win today. Yeah, look, I think so, mate. There's just too many injuries here for the Tigers, and the Storm just need that one big confidence-building win to really put them into a good stead. And they play the Eels next week at Magic Round, so they could go from 7 losses in a row to pumping this Tigers team that has a lot of injuries right now, and then getting a big win against the Eels. And how would you see it then? You'd be like, well, the Storm are shithouse, and they've played nobody, and the Tigers injured, and then the Eels, who are awful this year. But then if they're back on 2 wins in a row and they've won 2 confident games, a lot of people will be like, well, maybe we still got to start looking at the Storm again. How many else has cooked to centre for the Dragons? You're lucky you don't get timed out. Jerome Hughes brings the 2 far long. At the 40 on 4 tackle. Have the Tigers touched the ball yet? I actually don't even know. Munster's going to bring this ball. Offloads it to Harry Grant. Oh my gosh, they're away again here. This is ominous signs. Howard to Hugo Peel. Back underneath to Harry Grant. Underneath to Sean Bloor. Munster. There's the try for Munster I called. Bang, 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 bang. Storm are on here. Cameron Munster. Well, there you go. And that all comes off the back of his offload too, mind you. 12-0 with a kick to come. Well, Tigers, this is looking dangerous. This is looking damn well dangerous, son. Money, Munster. That was my guaranteed try score here for today, especially with Origin and with the chances that I was expecting him to see. Well, the Storm are looking on here. They are looking the big time. 12-0 with the kick to come. 10 minutes gone in the first half. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. That's 3 tries in 10 minutes. They look great, notwithstanding the Tigers' injury predicament. They do look really good in this game so far. Then again, they have had their signs against the Dolphins last week, but they fell apart late. So do watch the late fall off. But with that being said, right now, if they're up by 30 at halftime, they could be up by 40 at halftime with this. They just need that confidence-building win, bro. They really do. Brighton says, how did you know the Storm were going to turn up today? One, it's at home. So they would have to... So you've got to remember, look at their season so far. If you look at their season so far, this is... Like, even a Titans team or even a Dragons team, or maybe not Dragons, but you do still expect... Especially... I'm just going to go specifically refer to the Storm. The Storm this year have played 1 game against the Eels at Amy. Then the Broncos, where it was a loss. So they beat the Eels. They lost at home to the Broncos. They then lost at home to the Warriors. That's 1 and 2. They then lost at home to the Rabbitohs. That's 1 and 3. This is their 4th game. So this would be 3 losses in a row in Melbourne. And it's like you do really want to say that a team is more often than not going to be losing 3 games in a row at their own home ground. But also, it's Origin time. So Munster's playing up. Harry Grant's playing up. I guess Stefano Utokomano is playing up to try and get a New South Wales spot. Not that I think that happens. There's a lot of things that go for the Storm here today on their own individual basis. But then you go to the Tigers, no Jareen Buller, no Terrell May, no Api Kotori-Siao, no Adam Dewey, no Samuela Fainu, no one. And they just got beat by 50 by a scam Sharks team. So 14-0 here to the Storm, and there's been 85% possession here to Melbourne, and they're all over them. Like, look at this run from Stefano. They're all over him right now. Second tackle. There's just so many things on an individual basis that you would expect the Storm to find a way in this game. If it was a full-strength Tigers team, it might be a different story, but the Tigers look like they're about to go through a pretty lean little bit with all these injuries. Because you've got to remember last year as well with the Tigers, 4th tackle for the Storm at the 40. You got to remember with the Tigers last year, they had the least amount of injuries in the competition. The least amount of injuries. By like 220 less than the Rabbitohs did last year. The Tigers finished in 5th last, equal with the Rabbitohs in 4th last. The Rabbitohs had 280 to 300 injuries, as in collective games missed due to injury, whilst the Tigers had like 60 or 50 or something like that, which is ridiculous. How do you have 220 odd plus collective games missed due to injury and still as a difference, and still finish the exact same spot as them down the lower end of the table? So that shows you the depth isn't really there, and it shows you at their peak. Like, obviously this year's been really good, but it just shows you their depth isn't really there. And the depth, if they had lost those players last year, if they had had an injury toll like this season last year, they would have come last. The Tigers would have come last for a 4th consecutive year in a row, but they didn't have the injuries, and that's what got them into the 5th last positioning. So that's a big concern about the Tigers, and that's what the benefit to Josh Hannay, the Titans, is doing. Oh, big hit there from the Tigers. Sione Fainu, but it'll be Storm ball at the 30 on first tackle. Now Will Warbrick brings his ball to the 33 on second tackle. He could be on for a good 4 tries today, Will Warbrick. You know, the Tigers depth is just simply not there, and it is seriously concerning. I can't remember what point I was making right beforehand, before that big hit there from the Storm. But it is something that does need to be... Oh, Harry Grant's away here. Right through. Jerome Hughes, the right side. You're getting pumped today, Tigers. You're getting absolutely pumped today. Jerome Hughes scores under the post. It's about to be 20-0. It's about to be 22-0. Still no smile from Craig Bellamy, but that's because he knows this is expected. This was really poor defense. Really, really poor defense. They're beating the clock by 7 minutes right now. Harlan says, can I change my tip? I don't understand why people did tip the Tigers today, despite how bad the Storm have been. Like, I didn't understand it, because the Tigers have nobody in. They've got a New South Wales Cup team in today. They've got a New South Wales Cup team in today, brother. Munster was paying $4 for a try, easy money. Well, that was my guaranteed try score prediction. Yeah, they are fully just standing and watching, Jimmy Chicken. They are. Elijah says, try to have a Munster. West Cubs out here today. Tigers fans going to be a long one. This is going to be a long one. Ibrahim dropped that comment of Tigers fans going to be a long one when it was 14-0. Within about 2 minutes, it's now about to be 20-0. Brighton's home dinner says, just need Big Bunty to score a hat trick from a multi. Yeah, good luck with that one. Elijah says, if Tigers have Buller, Dewey, and Appy, they will pump the Storm today. I disagree. Like, at the end of the day, I think it would have been an interesting... I would have tipped the Tigers. I don't know about pumping the Storm here today, though. Like, I would have liked the Tigers to probably get up, but with that being said, the Storm look on here, and if the Storm played like this, regardless, it would have been a big game. The Storm, if they played like this, we would have got a tip wrong, because they are still playing some good footy right now. However, the Tigers' defence has been dreadful. So, 20-0, 14 minutes in. Jess says, I'm on plus 26.5 in Melbourne total first half. I reckon that's surely going to come off here. Right this very second, they are on pace to hit 50 bomb in the first half. You guys can't talk about it, I can, but they are on pace right now to hit a 50 bomb in the first half, definitely 40. So, like, but that's if it keeps going like this. It obviously can change around, but at the moment they're on pace for a massive score. Yeah. Libby says, Storm are looking in the mood today. They are. They're looking really in the mood. I actually tipped the Tigers here, but now I'm regretting my choices. So I want to ask all the Tigers tippers here in the chat. Did we look at the team lineups? I'm just asking that. Or did we just base it off the season so far? Because if you base it off the season so far, I get it. But if you didn't look at the team lineups, I forgive it. If you did and still did it, I would like to know why you would still tip them, regardless of their outs. So the Storm, they're going to bring this ball forward tackle to the 35 on their own side of the field. I just said I can't trust him. Yeah, look, this isn't just for you. That's a knock on from the Storm here. So the Tigers might actually get an opportunity. I'm not saying that to you. That's just in general. Just in general. Luai has to be one of the most overrated players in the comp. Oh, let's settle down. let's settle down. Like, I don't rate Luai as heavily as other players, but also let's settle down, bro. Like, 15 minutes in here. Everyone might comp tip the Storm because they looked at the lineup, Kokomo. Yeah, honestly, I tip the Tigers just off Storm form so far this year. I get it. I just think that you've got an NRL team going up against the New South Wales Cup team here today. So the Tigers, Paddy Herbert will be at the 30 on first tackle. But also the Storm, they have been fading late in games this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers still find a couple of tries in the last 20 minutes or so. They did come home strong against the Dragons. That's because the Dragons were so bad in that game. Alex 12, a bunt to your forward. Good running from Big Bunt. Third tackle of the Tigers, 13 metres away from the line. And now they'll go to the right-hand side off to Jock Madden, and he'll get crunched down to the 10 on 4 tackle. At least we're seeing an attacking opportunity here for the Tigers. Let's see, because the Storm defence is not good. Tigers, you should score here. The Storm defence is not good. Jerome Luai gets it across here to Taylor May, and Taylor May is going to be at the 5 on 5th tackle now. Yeah, Luai's a good player, just not the best. Yeah, he is a good player. And Luai's going to kick this ball through. It's going to go straight too far longer, but it's going to be Storm ball to 3. Nothing really threatening there from the Tigers at all. I think Luai deserves respect because at the end of the day, Cleary leads that Panthers team when they won those premierships with Luai, but Luai was also a part of the team, and it's just like Blaise Salungi. Blaise Salungi cannot explode and be the guy at the Penrith Panthers because Nathan Cleary is clearly the guy, but Blaise Salungi does his job, and Jerome Luai did his job as well. And when Cleary was out with Origin or Cleary was out with injury, Jerome Luai led that team and did keep them cracking on. So I'm not going to sit here and shit on Luai, but also he's not unbelievable. He can have his moments, but he's not a leader for mine in regards to the playing on the field. He definitely can be a leader in regards to mentality and off the field and bringing together a team, but I don't believe that he is a leader on the field as much as you would like to see from him. Fred says, look how rocks and diamonds Talangi is and Penrith and how much Penrith miss Luai. Penrith miss Luai? 60k for the Tigers, the 45. Why do you say Penrith miss Luai? That's an interesting thought. Why would you say that Penrith miss Luai? They're currently 8-1 going into a game against the Raiders where the Panthers just simply should win. But you've got to remember, Luai had performances like Blaise Salungi when he was at the Panthers. But either way, like Luai would probably showed a higher ceiling at the Panthers than what Talangi has done so far. Even though I do rate Talangi, he just unfortunately isn't able to be the guy there. Good running from Sione Fainu, 4 tackler at the 24. Well, at least they're getting a bit of momentum here, the Tigers. They needed it because they were getting absolutely slaughtered, 20-0 in the first 12 minutes of the game. Alex Twell, he'll get the offload away. He's been so good this year, Twell. Bunty a forward looking for something, gets the ball offload to Jock Madden, and Jock Madden's going to get this to the 22. Harry Collins says, how bad are the Tigers right now as a Tiger supporter? Bad, bro. Yeah, bad. But also the Storm were really good with a hot start. But bad from the Tigers' perspective, yeah. Knock on there from the Tigers. And it's going to be Storm ball here at the 10. Home in the NRL says, Luke Lalali'i first signing for the Afghanistan Sharks. Luke Lalali'i, I think, signed for the Perth Bears, didn't he? I think Luke Lalali'i is off to the Perth Bears next year. Man United almost had 5th win in a row with a draw against Sunderland. Oh, that's right, bro. The guy with the hair, the guy who's trying to cut his hair with 5 wins in a row. This has happened a couple times recently where they get 4 wins in a row and then there's a draw. Oh, no way, bro. He would be spewing. He's never going to get a haircut ever again. Cameron Munster, he's going to bring this ball to the 25 now on 3rd tackle. Harry Grant off to Farlongo, and Farlongo brings it to the 35 now on 4th tackle. I think Cleary's the best playmaker at Penrith. He's the complete package. He's the best player in the game. Jerome Hughes, that's a 40-20 attempt here. It's a 40-20 attempt. Where's the bounce going to go? Oh, it doesn't go over the 20, but it goes to about the 23, 24. So it'll be Tigers ball. I'll not cut my hair to the Waz win NRL. I don't suggest doing that, brother. I do not suggest you to do that, my man. Harry says him and his brother did. Him and his brother. Oh, the Lalali'i boys. Is that who you're talking about? Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, jeez. Sunetarova nearly knocked that ball on there at the 20. But it'll be first tackle for him. 20 minutes gone in the first half, guys. 20-0 to the Storm. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe. And don't forget that the Raiders Panthers game as well to this. Oh, this is okay. Man, do you realise that you have a 1 in 17 chance every year, but it's also not 1 in 17. That's just purely based off of how many teams are in the... 1 in 18 next year, 1 in 19 the year after that, and then 1 in 20 the year after that. But also, it's not as simple as just saying 1 in 17, 1 in 18, 1 in 19, 1 in 20 kind of deal. With all due respect, I'm not saying the Warriors will never win, but I'm just saying there is a good chance that you never cut your hair again. And that's not because of a Warriors thing. That goes for every club. You got to remember, the Chicago Cubs in baseball went 108 years. You saw someone born in 1909 and died in 2015. That is a full 106-year life, and they never saw the Cubs win. They never saw the Cubs win. You know, we see people on the. There's going to be a penalty here to the Melbourne Storm. Alex Twal has gone on report, and that's at the halfway point. So the Storm are going to go back on the attack here. You got to remember, whilst you're confident, whilst you love your team and all that type of stuff, just be very careful at making decisions like that, because there is no guarantee that your team ever wins. There's no guarantee the Titans ever win. There's no guarantee the Storm ever win again. There's actually still no guarantee that the Panthers ever win again, even though it's likely. So that is just a really, really big time prediction. With that Man United guy, he does 5 games in a row. That is entirely possible. Very difficult, but that is entirely possible. Doing it until you win the grand final is a long time, because if you don't make the finals, that's another whole full year until you can even think about cutting your hair again. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the play, bro. I'm giving you good advice here, man. Trust me. Second tackle here at the 10. Support your team, but that's wild for mine. You might never cut your hair again. Munster, that's going to be a knock on even the Tigers. There's going to be a penalty against the Tigers. Storm get the ball at 10 with a penalty. I'm not cutting my hair until Storm lose another premiership. Well, they've done plenty of that recently. They've done plenty of that. Aspects as if I did a challenge where I can't cut my hair until the Dragons win 5 games in a row, I'll be perfect for a live-action Rapunzel role. I was thinking about doing it for the Titans as a bit of a laugh, but I realised I may never cut my hair again. So first tackle now at the 5. Harry Grant to Cameron Munster. Munster short ball to Tukamanu. They're 5 metres away from the line. Here's second tackle for Melbourne. They could beat the clock again. It's currently 20 to 22 to the clock right now. Harry Grant short ball to Lisati, who is 3 metres away from the line. Third tackle. The clock leads 22-20. Harry Grant to Jerome Hughes. Hughes short ball. Cooper Clark comes on, taken down to the 8. That was a good tackle there from the Tigers. Kai Pearce-Paul. Fourth tackle, Harry Grant. They go short side, hits the grass. Not a good pass there. They get it across to Jack Howarth. Howarth shaped for a little bit of a kick there, but it'll be 13 metres out from the line. Fifth tackle. A little bit better defensive than the Tigers, but they're going to go out to the right to kick it to Warbrick here. You watch. Jerome Hughes, they're not even going to kick it to him. They're going to give it to Lasati. Great tackle there from the Tigers, but also, why are you not kicking it to Will Warbrick? He has a chance to score 100 tries here today. You kick the ball to him, he's going to go up for it, and he's probably going to get it here on this wing. He's already scored 1 try doing it, and it was really easy. So why would you not kick it back to him? Instead, you decide to run the ball through the line at Ativali Lasati. That doesn't make sense to mine. Half the teams I support are dog shit. But that goes for everyone, bro. And then there's a penalty here to the Tigers. That really pisses me off with the Storm, really. That really ticks me off. I don't care that you're up 20-0. And I know Craig Bellamy wouldn't care that you're up 20-0 right now. You didn't even see him smile when they went up 20. You still need to play at a big-time rate. And that is a really big brain fade from Melbourne. When something works, go that way. With the Bulldogs, when something works, they're going to go the complete opposite direction. But with the Storm, when something works, go that way again. Why are you giving it for a back rower just to run into the line on fifth tackle when you've clearly already seen that you can dominate that wing spot with Will Warbrick getting high up in the air to get that ball? I don't understand it. And now the Tigers' second tackle here at the 40. Yeah, Harry, it's not as possible with the NRL with the limited amount of games in the season. Correct, but also the Warriors have never won since they've been in the competition in 1995. The third tackle of the Tigers in the 45. The Raiders have gone about 30 odd years now. I think I think it's 31 years or so with the Raiders who haven't won a competition. They haven't won since the Warriors have come in. Obviously, the Titans haven't won, and they've been in since 2007. The Parramatta Eels have not won a national competition. They've only won the New South Wales Rugby League. Tigers here will be taken down. No, they get away here. No, they're taken down to 25 on fifth tackle. Fifth option here, Patrick Herbert, right-hand side. Jock Madden puts that one up in the air. Farlongo there. Farlongo drops it, and it's going to be a dropout. Unless Harry Grant gets out, no, it's going to be a dropout. It will be a dropout. So the Tigers are about to receive the ball again because of a drop from Farlongo. But yeah, the Raiders have gone 31 years or so. The Eels have gone 40 plus years now. And there's a good chance they could try and, reach the heavy heights of the Sharks, who didn't win a premiership for 50 years until 2016 when they did win. Very convenient timing NRL, I see you. Where the Sharks win 2 years after a scandal. And on their 50th year anniversary of being in the competition, Storm kicked this ball to about the 25. So the Tigers are going to bring this ball now to the 25. Imagine catching the ball at 25 and just running sideways and getting taken to 25. Ridiculous. So it's not as simple as you think. You know, the Sharks did go 50 years. There was a point in many Sharks fans' thoughts processes and minds that they would never win a comp, but they did. So whilst it's a lot easier to win an NRL than say a baseball or than say an NBA kind of deal, or even a Premier League if you're not one of the big teams, the point matter is there's an entire possibility that doesn't happen. Like, when are you back in Papua New Guinea to win a premiership? Third tackle now at the 13. They get across, and Kaipi's Paul, he'll be taken down at the 10 on 4 tackle now. They go quickly, left-hand side, off to Jock Madden. Madden now to Vanopole. Jerome Luai just absolutely got whacked by Nick Meaney there. Rushed out of the line and made the tackle. There's too slow in the passing from the Tigers at the moment. Fit tackle. They give it to Jock Madden. Madden, quick passing, Fainu. Good passing, Taylor May. Lalali'i, and he will be offloading it to Taylor May. Taylor May might score here. Try time, Taylor May. Good try, Taylor. That's strong from Taylor May. Will Storm, that all comes on the back of your decision-making up the other end of the field. It all comes off the back of the Storm decision-making. Instead of going to a place that you have seen successful, of kicking the ball to Will Warbrick and going up for it and scoring a try, like, Taylor May has no right to score this, but he's just broken through like 3 or 4 plays. This is a very strong try from Taylor May, and this is a great offload from Luke Lalali'i. Harry Grant, Jerome Hughes, meeting the tackle, but he gets the offload away, Taylor May, and then he just pumps through like 4 guys to score this. But Taylor May is one of the strongest centers in the game. That's what Taylor May can do. But what an offload there from Luke Lalali'i on fit tackle. He just burrows through him. Look at that. Big time try there from Taylor May. Well, Storm, whilst you just dominate this first 20, you have slipped up a little bit in these last 7 minutes. You have slipped up a little bit. P starts, I agree with you, BKR. It annoys me when teams go away from what works for no reason. Constant short balls just to get tackled, then put up a bomb that gets caught easily by the opposition, rinse and repeat. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense why the Storm did that. It just does not make sense. Jimmy James is 40 years this year for Para. Yeah, there you go, Jimmy. And it's like, you, as an Eels fan, I'm sure can't see when your next premiership is. Like, sure, like, you have faith and confidence that in your lifetime you're going to see a premiership, but you can't see it right now. Like, for me with the Titans, I think about it every damn well day, whether we're ever going to win a premiership. By the way, huge blow here for the Storm. Sualauvi Failongo is off the field. He is about to walk up to the tunnel. God bless him, man. God bless Failongo. Joe Money says, also hope everyone has a good Mother's Day. Had a lovely lunch with my mum, and now we have way too much food, which is great. That's always the way to go, mate. That's always the way to go. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. So Jock Madden here from the left-hand touchline. And he will slap it to the left-hand side. So it will be a missed kick, and it will stay 20 points to 4. Shit defense plus mid-attack equals kind of fair game. The Storm defense is shocking this year. But that is a good try from the Tigers, regardless of what the Storm do. Who would go into fullback then? Meaney, I guess. I feel like it'd probably be Nick Meaney, and then they'd have to shift in like a... So Nick Meaney probably to the fullback, and then centre, maybe you're chucking in... Oh, Joe Chan will maybe come into the back row, and then maybe... Oh no, maybe Joe Chan goes into the centre. Oh, shit, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think... Well, Joe Chan will come on. I just don't know if he'll go back row, or if he'll go into the centre, or if it will be Sean Bloor who goes into the centres. But yeah, Meaney would be going into fullback. So Tigers now, they'll bring this ball to 15, but that is a big blow for Melbourne regardless. Failongo has been their star this season. Even in their losses, he's typically been their star. He is defensively a liability a bit. However, right now, the Tigers are getting some momentum, and I'm telling you, Storm, maybe they can start to... if the Storm lose from 20-0 up, Craig Bellamy, I think he quits on the spot. He quits on the spot. 8 losses in a row, being 20-0 up and being just unbelievably dominant in the first 20 minutes to go on losing this game at home for their fourth loss. Their third loss in a row at Melbourne would be just dreadful to lose from a 20-0 standing. Fit tackling out the 30, and the Tigers are going to get smacked and knock the ball onto the 30. Well, no, that's a knock-on. But they didn't call it. Well, that's just a knock-on. Nick Meaney is the fullback, by the way. 6 again here for the Tigers. They're on the attack now. Taylor May, he's got a chance here. Taylor May, watch him. Oh no, he's throwing the ball close to the sideline. Look, Laliti gets the ball, thankfully. They're still going here. This is first tackle, lads. This is zero tackle. Tigers here on zero tackle, 13 metres out. Storm, they're on the back foot now. How are they doing this? How are the Melbourne Storm doing this, brother? They go to the right-hand side. Here's a quick passing. Tarova. 1-on-1. Great tackle there from Munster. And they're taken down. 6 again here for the Tigers, 5 metres away from the line. Patrick Herbert gives it off now to Jock Madden Seyfarth. And Seyfarth will be taken down 10 metres, 5 metres away from the line. Second tackle. Storm, surely not. You couldn't, could ya? You really couldn't. You really couldn't. Jock Madden, Jerome Luai, and Luai is going to be taken down here 10. No, he gets the offload away. The offloads are just coming in red hot right now for the Tigers. Royce Hunt, he's going to get this ball to the 1 on third tackle. 10 minutes to go here the first half, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. Left-hand side, Jock Madden, Jerome Luai, Taylor May again. No, good tackle there from Jerome Hughes to lock him down. Fourth tackle at the 5. Fourth tackle. Tigers putting on a bit of a show these last few minutes to get back into this game. Seyfarth has just ruined any kind of momentum that you could ever think about there. 13 metres out, Mitchell's favourite player. Fifth tackle. And they'll go to Jerome Luai. Luai underneath here. Sione Fainu. No, Royce Hunt, sorry. And he'll be taken down to 5. And Storm Bull. Well, Melbourne, they hold out. But my goodness me. What a different last 10 minutes this has been in the first 20 minutes of this game. If Storm lost this being 20-0 up, it would be their most embarrassing loss this season. It would be their most embarrassing loss of all time. It would be. Melbourne, at home, 3 losses in a row, 8 losses in a row, and then up 20-0 against a Tigers team without 3 of their spine players and also their back row, who's been unbelievable this year. Jerome Hughes fakes the kick, and he's going to bring this ball here. Oh, that's bad defense from the Tigers. He'll bring the ball to the 45 and 4 tackle. Without heaps of their players, Terrell May as well. There is no excuses here for Melbourne. Munster to Cooper Clark. At the end of the day, this Tigers team is still a professionally paid football team. They are still professional players playing on the field. Anything can happen. But it would be their most embarrassing loss of all time, in my opinion, yeah. Munster's going to take that little ball over the top, and that's going to bounce nicely there for... is it Heath Mason? I think Heath Mason's their fullback today. Yeah, it is. Heath Mason, their fullback. Category 2. So Farlong only went off for a HIA. I thought it was an injury, but it was a HIA. So you really hope that he passes. Hans fans, if Storm lose this, their coach might actually just leave for good. I'm joking. Like, he's not leaving, bro. I do think that genuinely this might be his last year. Even though his contract for next year, it'd be interesting to see what the health conditions that came out if he does kick on next year. Alex Twell drops the ball, but the Tigers fit tackle at the 45 on their own side of the field. And the Tigers are going to whack that ball down till the 10. And Nick Meaney, who's now playing the fullback with Farlongo off with the HIA, he's going to bring it out to the 25 on first tackle. Peace, I reckon Billy Slater as coach could be Melbourne's version of Osborne, not to say Bellamy is Siebes. Yeah, that's essentially saying Bellamy is Seabold. Let's not do that. Seabold is in his own category of muppetry. 6 again here for the Storm at the 45. Okay, maybe they can get a bit more momentum back into the game here. But Billy Slater, well, we haven't seen Billy Slater on a domestic level, man. We've seen him at a representative level as a coach of Queensland, where you have the best players possible given to you for your state. So it's a bit different doing it for the NRL than it is for Origin, unless you ask Madge. The Storm now go to the left-hand side. Jack Howard, 10 metres away. Great run. 4 tackle, 9 metres away from the line here. The Storm, can they hit on back? Can they give it off here to Munster? Munster now to Harry Grant. Harry Grant short. Oh, why do you go short, bro? You had plenty of numbers out the back, Harry Grant. You actually would have scored. Please go to Will Warbrick. Jerome Hughes. Oh, no. Oh, the Storm are still being the Storm, though. They are still being the Storm. Oh, it's fit tackle, bro. Please offload it. Cameron Munster. They kick this ball over to Warbrick's side, but not a good kick. And Taylor May grabs it. He'll be taking the in-goal dropout. If that kick is any better, Will Warbrick scores it again. I'm telling you, they can target Will Warbrick's side. He is going to beat Luke Lalali'i in the air every single time. Taylor May was the one who caught this, but it was because it was too far away from Will Warbrick. I promise you, if you kick the ball, high ball to Will Warbrick in today's game, you are going to give him like 3 or 4 tries, bro. He will score 3 or 4 tries against this wing. Also, Billy Slater's pretty arrogant. Just asked David Fafita. Jeez. So that's going to be a great take from Warbrick in the air. There you go, to prove my point. Warbrick is going to be at the 9. Like, up against multiple Tigers players, he gets up in the air and he gets the grab. Trust your winger, who's already shown he can score here today, in the air. Harry Grant goes at himself. Poor defense. Try time, Harry Grant. Poor defense right through the middle, and it's a try right underneath the post. It is 24 points to 4 with a kick to come. 24 points to 4 with a kick, a mundos to come into the Melbourne Storm. That probably, Mo, that's probably a good point. You say the Tigers just lost the game. Now, it is way too early, obviously. There is still 45 minutes to go here, and the Storm are not good second half. However, you had the momentum. You were down 20-0. You had the momentum. You got back into it with a 4-pointer. And then you had another attacking set, and you were looking good to maybe get back into it with only being down by 14. And then instead, you give away, you don't score, and then you give away the 6 again, and then the Storm go up the other end of the field and score. So, yeah, look, I don't know if the Tigers can come back in now. There was actually a chance they could sneak a comeback, but now it's like it's getting a little bit away from them. Patricia Davies says, love having the Tigers coach and the Raiders coach are on the sideline, so old school. I love that. Yeah, I really do like Ricky Stewart and Benji Marshall on the sideline, really getting into the boys, getting a feel for the on-field, how it's going on field. Because sitting in the box is like, yeah, okay, you get a better view, you can see it from a bird's eye angle, and you can see a lot more of the field. But if I was a coach, I would be on the field, yeah. I think it's better to be amongst the players, amongst the atmosphere, and really in the thick of the action. And that's why I feel like Ricky Stewart is really respected by his players, and I feel like Benji Marshall is also really respected by his players. And he says it'll be interesting to see who the Storm put in as head coach should Bellamy step aside. Also, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Hope you're having a lovely day. Exactly right. Happy Mother's Day. But I believe that they'll bring in Billy Slater. I think that's just going to happen. I don't know if he works at the domestic level, but I'm just saying I think that he probably goes there, and it'll be interesting to see if he can do it with the Storm. 5 minutes to go here of the game. Oh, coconut coffee. First half. Coconut coffee. How good is it? How good is it? If you haven't had a coconut coffee yet from Vietnam, it's something else. It's just something else. It changes you. It changes your life. It changes your life, lads. Justin Sundo sent GGs for 20 joules. Get around your Sundo, the big bopper over there in China. First take a leave of the Storm at the 15. Where are you now? Are you still in Guangzhou or you're in Chongqing? I think you were in Chongqing the last time I saw. I don't know where you are, mate. You're like me. You're just all over the shop, and I love it. Third tackle here at 33. I love it. People like myself, people like you just never know where you are at all times. It's brilliant. People are always like, where are you now? I stay in places for a little bit longer. Oh, there's a Biffo here. Biffo. Someone throw an uppercut, you cats. Headbutt him. Headbutt him. Uppercut the cat. Uppercut him. Chongqing still. Is that pronounced correctly, by the way, Sundo? Got to keep everyone guessing, mate. I think this might be a penalty here to the Melbourne Storm because he was on the ground. He just kind of really got into him on the ground. It's heating up. Someone throw an uppercut, you cats. And I don't know what they're going to call here. So Harry Grant comes down hard. Oh, yeah, he's been slammed into the ground there by Latu Fainu. But Latu Fainu, the kind of big dogging just then, bro. It's a penalty to the Storm. Latu Fainu big dogging, bro. You've done nothing in your career just yet, man. Like, you've got high prospects. You've done nothing in your career just yet to be going like that at Harry Grant. So just be aware. But 4 minutes to go here the first half. It's going to be a penalty to the Storm. But also love a little bit of the fire in the game. Just make sure, yeah. Adam. Oh, I just actually clocked on that Adam G is the referee in this game. I hate this man. I hate this man. I hate this man, dude. I cannot believe that I'm having to see this man's face after Friday. So, Storm penalty at the 42. I think it's pronounced. No, I don't know, Pete Star. Are you being serious or are you taking the piss? Because the Q in Asia is like usually like a Jing, like a Chongqing, or is it? I don't know if you're taking a piss or not, bro. Sundo, is it Chongqing or is it? What Pete Star said. I just don't know if he's taking a piss. Would you say in Origin, especially no biffo, should be a bin? Would you say in Origin, especially no biffo, should be a bin? Can you put that again in English, please, my bro? I don't actually know what you're saying. I can see you saying in Origin, and I can see you saying no biffo and then a bin. No biffo? I don't really know. It's pronounced the way that Pete said, or me, or how I said it, Sundo. So is it? Yeah, I'm being serious. I think I might be wrong though. Sounds racist, but it's true. Well, that's why I wanted to make sure, man. So it's actually pronounced Chongqing. Okay. Okay. But you can understand why I had to question it, because obviously, certain references and whatnot. But there's a reason why I had to question that before I said it, Pete Star. So I wasn't having a crack at you. I was just like, I'm interested to make sure first. Jerome's Hughes, right-hand side, quick passing. Will Warbrick, he will, I think, score. They're going to check this. Will Warbrick saying he scored this. They're going to the bunker. It's either that he's gone over the... They're going to see if he goes over the sideline and if he is held up as well. But it's called no try, so never back in the bunker, though. Whatever the bunker says, it's usually the opposite. And Warbrick will... Well, if that touches there, if that's over the line, that's a try. We need to get perspective on where it is. He hasn't gone over the sideline, though. There's no doubt it touches the ground, but does it touch the ground over the line? That's the question. Oh, dude, I don't know. It's going to be hard to overturn this because there's so many plays in the way, but it's close. Okay, so they're going to say the ball is short. Does his elbow go out? It touches the corner post. Does it go out, though? Oh, there you go, yeah. He goes over the sideline. Oh! Are they saying... Now they're saying if they go and touch, they said he gets held up and whatnot. Anyway, long story short, we're now looking for the sideline. I thought they were about to say that he doesn't touch the sideline. I'm like, you'd have to think the elbow touches. I think that's his elbow there. That's touch. Yeah, it's a correct call. It's going to be Tigers ball, no try. Fred says more of a try than Roosters versus Titans. 100%. Yeah, this should have been a buddy 10-point try if we're basing it off that. Jazz says Bulavanaka, it's so fine and weird for me to be happy for the Storm to be ahead in the game. Well, I guess for the Warriors' perspective, yeah, it's better for the Tigers to lose this and lose this well. Not that they're actually within your vicinity right this very second, but yeah, it is definitely better for the Tigers to lose this game than for the Storm to lose it from a Warriors fan perspective. First, I got to the Tigers at the 10. Would you say a biffo should never be a bin in Origin? Okay, so I understand your question now. If we're talking like Brett White, when he just clean, I can't remember which player it was. If we're talking like a Brett White just clean punch, then that's a bin. But if we're talking like a push and shove, a little slight biffo kind of deal, then no. Like the end of the day, the game is different, lads. It is different to what it used to be. I would like it to be the old way, but it's never going to be that way again, due to player health and safety and whatnot. I would prefer it to be, you can have a bit of a crack, like we see in the NHL. You are illegally allowed to fight in that game, but it's just not going to happen, lads. Hugo Peel will get this ball to the 20. Ooh, close to a high tackle there, first tackle. Oh, hold on. Alex Twell. Okay, so Alex Twell was meant to come off the field for Category 3 or something like that, but he's now been judged to be Category 2. I don't know, really confusing, but either way, he's off for the next 15 minutes. That's a big loss in the middle of the park for the Tigers. Brett White versus Steve Price. Yeah, that should be bin. Exactly. Yeah, that's definitely a bin. Like, the severity is the key part here. Fit tackle here at the 40 for the Melbourne Storm on the Tigers side of the field. They go to the left-hand side to Cameron Munster, and Munster's going to whack that ball up high in the air. Good chase here from Jerome Hughes. And wow, that's a great take from Heath Mason. It's like a little bubble, but he catches it himself. The NRL admitted they were wrong for like the 100th time. Yeah, that apology really helps our case. Ibrahim, I'm sick of the NRL in regards to their apologies. And there's a knock on here from the Tigers. Now, no, there's a penalty to the Tigers. We hear an apology from the NRL. And I'm being legitimate here. I'm being literal. We hear an apology from the NRL about a Titans game quite literally 3 times a year. 3 times a year. We got 3 apologies last year. We've already had an apology this year. I'm looking forward to the next 17 rounds. A minute to go here of the first half. The Tigers will have the last real say with the ball here. And the Tigers are going to be at the 45 on second tackle. Don't think the Storm are back because this isn't a full-strength Tigers. Who said they were back? I'm just saying that a confident win can put them into a good stead for a game against the Eels next week to get potentially 2 wins in a row. And then they play the Bulldogs, that's potentially 3 wins in a row. Like, a confident win here can do a world of good for this Melbourne team. And whilst they have been really good here today in parts, they've also still been the same Melbourne Storm team in other parts of the game. So I'm not saying the Storm are back, but there is an entire world that they could get on a bit of a run here and put themselves back into a back category. Tigers kick this ball over to the right-hand side. I think that's a knock on here from the Storm. So this is going to be a 6 again for the Tigers. Doesn't matter, 10 seconds to go. Munster picks it up, but it's going to be 5 seconds left here. You've got to pack the scrum. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Scrum not packed. That's half-time. Yep. Didn't pack the scrum in time, so that is going to be half-time. That will be half-time. Aspect says, imagine getting robbed in a grand final and NRL just says, sorry, I think I'd get more angry because they said sorry. Ask Manly. The NRL did apologise in 2013 against the Roosters, funnily enough, too. The NRL did say we made a wrong call in the grand final when they lost that game. So that has happened before. The NRL has apologised to the Raiders in 2019 for the grand final in regards to the 6 again call. So these do happen. You know, it does happen. People... Not cracking you. People keep saying, like, oh, imagine when like one of these bad calls happens in a grand final. You know, how are people going to tolerate it? You've seen it before, especially in 2019. You've already seen it. They already made a bad call in 2019 where he quite literally does do the 6 again sign and then the Raiders play it out thinking they've got a fresh set when they would have had a field goal from right in front. And then instead, he says, nut, fit tackle, you've been taken, all the arguments, and then the Roosters got down in the field, score, and win the game. Are you finding it funny, though, that the 2 grand finals that have had apologies that in recent memory that I can remember were Manly versus the Roosters, Roosters won, and Raiders versus the Roosters won? What happened on Friday, too? I just want to... Did Strickland... No, Strickland didn't win, did he, Nath? No way, Nate. Did he really? No. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. There's no way. Oh my gosh, he actually won by decision. That's actually amazing. Get around your Sean Strickland. That's a massive upset. That is a massive, massive upset. That is huge, man. Wowee. If anyone watches UFC, Sean Strickland just won by decision against Khamzat Chimaev. That is huge. Wow, good on him. Well, that's a... That is so cool, man. I love that. That is massive. Yeah, 580 odds. He was a massive underdog, but you know that press conference the other day was absolutely spicy. That was, you know, prime time press conference UFC kind of deal. But all right, guys, let's get into the halftime stats here for this Storm versus the Tigers game. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Patricia Davies says still anyone's. This game is not really still anyone's, but we know what Rugby League can do. We know things can change around, and the Storm do throw away leads at halftime. But 22 points is 22 points. Like, that's a big throwaway. That would be massive. And 20-0 in the first 14 minutes of the game. You know, it was just, yeah. The Tigers should have no right to come back in this game. If the Storm do, it's their most embarrassing loss of all time. And you just really wouldn't be expecting it. But again, Rugby League is Rugby League. But all right, guys, like I said, thumbs up, subscribe, let's do it. So the Storm 26, the Tigers 4. And this is Amy Park in Melbourne. The try scorers, Suolalavi Failongo, Will Warbrick, Cameron Munster, Jerome Hughes, and Harry Grant for the Storms. Every single player in the spine for the Melbourne Storm have scored here today. And then Will Warbrick, and then Nick Meaney, 3 from 5 on the conversions. Whilst the Tigers, Taylor Mayer scored, but they did miss the conversion. You go to the possession, so 52% possession here for the Storm, 48% possession here for the Tigers. It's a very equal overall, but time of possession is 13 minutes and 4 seconds for the Storm, 11 minutes and 59 3.9 seconds there for the Tigers. It is just breaching that 25-minute threshold. You would like to see more ball in play, but at the end of the day, we have seen 6 tries scored, and we also have seen, well, not too many penalties. That's actually relatively disappointing in regards to the time possession, but at least it's hitting the threshold. Now, completion rate, wow, this is spectacular here from both these teams. So 80% is what you're looking for on a completion rate, 80%. The Storm are at 90%, 19 from 21. They've made a lot of errors this year, a lot of errors, but today they're not making the errors at the moment. 90% is spectacular. The Tigers even better, 93% on the completion rate, 15 from 16. They've only had 1 error in a set. Both these teams are performing at an exceptional level on a completion rate. That does not mean that they're performing at an exceptional rate with the ball. But as a completion rate and not dropping the ball, that goes a long way to winning you your games. I know the Tigers are down by 22 points despite having a 93% completion rate. But I'm just saying, that is absolutely massive there for both these teams. Now, in regards to the runs, Storm, 98 runs for 915 run meters. They are 65 meters behind the 10 meters in average per run that you're looking for. It is still pretty good. You would like a little bit more, but at the end of the day, it's still pretty good here for Melbourne. Whilst the Tigers are at 85 runs for a very disappointing 643 run meters. That means that they are 207 meters behind the 10 meters in average per run that you're looking for. They're 13 runs behind the Storm right now, but again, the Storm are 65 meters behind their marker, and the Tigers are 207 meters behind their marker. 60 to 207. So the Storm are dominating the run meter department with the ball, and then in the post-contact meters, 262 to the Storm, 201 to the Tigers. It's now 86 for 649, so it's a 12-run gap. They are not making up 61 meters on post-contact in 12 runs. It's just simply not happening. You are not getting 61 post-contact meters in 12 runs, unless it's an absolute miracle. So the Storm are dominating both the run meters and also the post-contact meters department. We move to the line breaks, 4-1 to the Storm. Most of those would have come in that first 14 minutes. Absolute blitz from the Melbourne Storm. And they're just dominating that. Tackle breaks, wow, Tigers, this is bad. 27 tackle breaks from the Melbourne Storm is wild. 15 tackle breaks for the Tigers. 27 missed tackles from the Tigers in the first half is diabolical. Now, average set distance. 25 metres and below is pathetic, turn the stream off. 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hitting the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is essentially perfect. Storm are at 43.59. Great. You're doing a really good job with the ball. You're making plenty of metres. You're getting close to the fantastic category. It's in the middle here of the great category, but regardless, 43.59 is really good. The Tigers are also at 40.58. They're also in the great category. So both these teams are actually pretty much just competing at a very similar level here, but it's just I can see the missed tackles that are really hurting, and I feel like it's going to come down to errors and missed tackles right now because they are competing at a similar level. It's just the run meters obviously were pretty advantage of the Storm though, actually. Anyway, long story short, both teams in a great average set distance, and then you go to the average play the ball speed. 3.19 seconds and below is extremely fast. 3.2 to 3.39 is fast. 3.4 to 3.59 is average. 3.6 to 3.79 is slow, and 3.8 and above is extremely slow. 3.2 seconds here for the Storm is still fast. They're 0.01 seconds away from going extremely fast. That's really speedy, man. The Storm are moving the ball really quick in the play the ball. The Tigers, 3.7 seconds. That is slow, dude. That is half of a second slower than the Storm. That is really slow. That's a massive surprise. And I did say earlier on in the game that the Tigers are passing the ball around quite slow, and their play the ball speed is also really slow. So that's a big gap there in a game like this. That's a massive, massive gap between the Storm and the Tigers with the play the ball speed. Now, the offloads don't surprise me. 7 offloads for the Tigers, 3 to the Storm. Definitely getting up there to the high range there for the Tigers, whilst the Storm still quite low. You move to the forced dropouts, 1 apiece. Kick defusal is 33% for the Storm, 67% here for the Tigers. And then we go down to the effective tackle percentage. Both teams not good here. Both teams not good. Yeah, both teams not good here at all. So 85% and below is bad, awful. 85% to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker. 90% and above is essentially perfect. 84.18% here for the Storm is awful. It's not good. Tackles made is 149, so that's below the typical 160 to 180. And then you've got 17 missed tackles. The average is 15 to 17. So still average, on the higher end of average, but still average. The ineffective tackles is what's really crunching them. 11 ineffective tackles. The average is 5 to 7. So that's 28 bad tackles in the first half with a very limited amount of tackles made of 149. That's why they're down in the awful category. And you have noticed it as well. You know, whilst the Storm got out to that heavy blitz in the beginning, first 14 minutes of this game, 15 minutes of this game, first 20 minutes of this game, it really hasn't been overwhelmingly positive in regards to a lot of the factors defensively. They still are a really poor defensive unit, and it's been pretty obvious to see. So whilst the Storm are winning this game against a very heavily depleted Tigers team, and this is something to note that there are certain things that are still not changing in Melbourne, despite how heavy this lead is at halftime. And then the Tigers, they're at 85.12%, so they're slightly better than the Storm. However, they are still in the underwhelming category and 0.12% away from going into the disgusting category, the awful category. 183 tackles made is above the typical 160 to 180, which is what's helping this percentage. The missed tackles is a whopping 27 though. So that's 10 more missed tackles than the Storm, and that's 10 above the average. That's really poor. Like, that's pathetic. The amount of missed tackles in this game from the Tigers is something that Benji really needs to have a word to them about at halftime. That is a pathetic number. 10 missed tackles higher than the average is just wild. Bad is 21, 20, 21, 22, 23 region. That's bad. But anything above that is just really, really bad. So 27 missed tackles is yikes. But the ineffective tackles is 5. So they're on the lower end of the average. So that's what's helping them out too. So the Tigers have 34 more tackles made. They have 10 more missed tackles, which makes sense considering the switch up. Maybe not as much. It doesn't make sense in regards to as much of 10 being the gap. But the ineffective tackles being limited by 6 with the extra 34 tackles made is disappointing there for the Melbourne Storm, who really are not completing the tackle, and they're getting away from it, obviously, overall. So 32 bad tackles for the Tigers, 28 bad tackles for the Storm. But again, 34 more tackles made for the Tigers. Now, errors. Well, the errors are 4 for the Storm and 1 for the Tigers. Now, 3 and below is really good. 4 to 6 is average, and 7 above is awful. Now, I'm actually kind of proud of the Storm here because 4 is really good for them this year. It's probably even too high in recent years, but this year they've been like averaging like 7, 8 errors in a first half kind of deal. Like, they're at 4. That's actually pretty positive for them. It's average. 4 to 6 is average, but it's pretty positive for them this season. And then you go to the Tigers on their error, 1 error. You know, that's really good. That's fantastic. Only the 1 error in this game so far. Penalties conceded, 4-2 against the Tigers. That's quite high for the Tigers. Ruck infringements, 2-1 against the Tigers, and inside 10 metres, 2-1 against the Tigers. That means there's 8-4 on an overall infringement count, with penalties, ruck, and inside 10 being included there. So that's where the Tigers are ultimately losing this game too, and because they don't have enough menace in the middle of the park, those run meters and post-contact meters are just they're just really poor right now. They are. So that's where the Tigers are lacking in this one. The defense in that first 14 minutes was just so bad. And I just don't know if the Tigers are going to be able to come back in this game to win it. I could see a Tigers come back to be within maybe remote range, but I did say before the game that I was fully expecting that the Storm should win 13 plus, and they should just go on with a 13 plus win here. However, you can't really back in ultimately the Storm in second halves this year, so you do have to be careful of that. The home of the NRL says this game definitely would have been interesting with Dewey, Buller, and Appy playing with how the Tigers wrestled possession. Yeah, well, Dewey, Buller, Appy, Terrell May, Samuela Fainu, a lot of outs, man. Cheeto says Storm finally win. Well, you'd hope so. You'd hope so. Up 26-4 at half time. Biddy says, of course, the week I tip against the Storm, they lead 26-4 at half time. Well, I just feel like most people didn't look at the team lineups, man. I really do. Because if you tip the Tigers, it just didn't really make any sense with the team lineups. I'm not saying that you're wrong to have that thought process, but I'm just saying it's a questionable thought process with the fact that they've got like 6 of their stars out and 3 of their spine. The home of the NRL could see a full-time score of like 42-16. Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. But also the Storm aren't exactly a heavy-hitting team in the second half of games. Well, Ben, we're not taking the Cowboys off a fraud alert, that's for sure. That's for sure. Wait, hold on. Fred says, can you name an instance of the NRL apologising to not for the call going the Roosters' way? Wait, what? Can you name an instance of the NRL apologising to not for the call going the Roosters' way? I don't know what you actually mean. But he said that's exactly what happened. I don't know what that means. Far longer rule, that is massive though for the Storm. That is a huge one. Far longer being out is definitely going to hurt their speed in the second half. Nick Meaney is that fullback. Who did go into the centre is my question. I don't know who actually went across into the centre position to cover for Nick Meaney. I didn't take notice of it. Has someone taken notice of it? Eric says, go the Storm. Eric Le Français. Are you saying you're French? Get around you, Eric, all the way over there in Le Français, in France. But it is still half time here. And don't forget, we do have the Raiders versus the Panthers right after this one. Fred says 2, not 4. Okay. Oh, apologising. Okay, so 2, not 4. Can you name an instance then, or apologising to not to the call going the Roosters? What? Are you saying to the Roosters, like apologising to the Roosters? Is that what you're trying to say? That English was appalling, brother. That English was appalling, if that's what you're asking. But I think I've found it. I think I've found that's what you're trying to say. I don't remember a time the Roosters have been apologised to. No, that's a good question. I don't remember. A Roosters fan probably could come in, but for some reason, Roosters fans have this this thought process, like they're always the ones being harshly done by, and it's just really fascinating to see. It really is fascinating. But like the Roosters this week were like, we get bad calls all the time, so you shouldn't be complaining. It's like, shut your mouth, dude. Like, shut your mouth. You've had 2 grand finals that have been apologised to the opposition team, and even you knew that wasn't a try on Friday. Logan says, I assume Chan goes to centre. He's played it before. That's what I said before. I did expect Chan to go into it, or Sean Broad to move and then Chan to the back row. I did expect Chan to come on. I just haven't noticed who actually did come in. Retra says, a big comeback for the Tigers. It'll be impressive, but I don't think so. I just don't think that it happens, but it'd be cool to see. It would be cool to see. Do you think Manly signed 4 into the full coaching role? I think they already have. Or do they want him to make top 8 before they do? I'm pretty certain they've already signed him. I'm pretty certain you're going to see something tomorrow saying that Kieran Foran's been signed. Maybe I might know already as well. Second half of start here, guys. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Munster to Josh King. And the Storm will start with the ball, and they'll bring this ball out here to the 10. Well, does anyone here who's not a Tigers fan believe that the Tigers can come back in this game? Cooper Clark gets this ball here to the 20. And again, if you didn't hear before, Suaalii Failonga is out for the game. And with him failing, that would mean that he can't play Magic Round next week against not the Bulldogs, against the Eels, no? I'm pretty certain that means he can't play next week with a failed HIA. Harry Grant, he'll get off to Nick Meaney. This is a pretty good set here. They've got about 50 metres on their first set. Fit tackle now. And Harry Grant to Jerome Hughes. And they'll whack this one down here to the 10, where Luke Lalali'i brings it out to the 15. What is the probability of the Tigers coming back? Well, I literally just asked you this question. So, what's this Uno reverse card, man? I quite literally just asked you guys, who are not Tigers fans, to say, what do you think? Do you think the Tigers have any chance here, or is it just a clean sweep of Storm? Because I'm just going with Storm should just pull away from here. They really should, especially if they score the first try this second half. 6 again for the Tigers. They're at the 33 on their own side of the field. They got to the left-hand side, sending Fainu to Taylor May. And Taylor May then passes the ball away to Luke Lalali'i. Lalali'i take it down to the 45. They were saying some facial injuries too, so probs not. Yeah, that's a big loss. So Meaney should be their fullback next week against the Eels, and that is a big loss for them. The Tigers, they'll get this ball to the 35 on second tackle. And he says, if it's Cat 1, then no, but they said possible facial fracture as well. But isn't it if you fail a HIA, you can't play for 11 days? Isn't it failed HIA, just straight up 11 days? Williams, there's no chance for comeback. And that's come from a Tigers fan. Yeah, I don't think so. It would be a really prime time Melbourne Storm of 2026 if that was the case, though, because the Tigers have a lot of excuses to lose this game. Maybe not to concede 50 if that did happen. The Tigers will bring this ball to the 20, and Heath Mason will be taken down at the 13 now on fit tackle. There's never an excuse to lose by 50, but there is an excuse to lose the game. Heath Mason's going to take the tackle on fit tackle, and it'll be Storm ball at the 5. That's why last week the Tigers were on a fraud alert. Obviously, unfortunately, they're not going to be coming off a fraud alert here. But a big loss here, currently speaking, is 22 points. So if the Tigers, they will go from plus 40 to plus 18. If they are to lose by 12 more points, the Tigers will actually go into 7th, and the Cowboys will go up into 6th position on points differential. And then if you lose by another 14 points or more, you go below the Knights, and you'll go to 8th on points differential. Game feels forced now and sluggish. Well, it just comes down to who scores the first try this second half, man. I think it's okay now, but if the Storm score first in the second half, they will really pull away here. Now, I will say they hit Fitty Bomb if they get the next try across the next, 12 minutes, 11 to 12 minutes. If the Storm score first, that's just going to be, finito. Jerome Hughes to the right-hand side, and this is fit tackle. That is actually amazing, Jerome Hughes. That is by far the dumbest play that you could have just achieved. You pass the ball to a centre who is a back rower, mind you, on fit tackle, 40 metres out from the line for him to run the ball into the line. That's incredible. That's actually fascinating to see. Is Twell on? No, Twell's off with a HIA, Nathan Johnson. He's off with a HIA. 6 again here, the Tigers. I'm telling you what, whilst the Storm are winning this game by a lot right now, they still are showing very similar signs to recent weeks, dude. There's still a lot of disappointment about this Storm team right now in this game. Especially considering that first, 20 minutes was just so pulsating. It was so dominating. Since then, they've really reverted back to their kind of original ways this year. Tigers out of the left-hand side, Jerome Luai, and Luai will be taken down at the 28 and third tackle. And now they'll go Talon May to Jock Madden. Oh, Twali's back on the field, Nathan. He is back on the field. He went off for a HIA in the first half, and now he's back. That's right, because obviously halftime counts as the HIA timing. For tackle. And they now go to Kai Pearce-Paul, and Kai Pearce-Paul then offloads it to Talon May, and Talon May, oh, Jess, I just realised you got so close to the 26 and a half. They got 26 in the first half. Damn, that's so close. They really went to sleep, which hurt you in that last 20 minutes of the first half. So Storm get it. Hugo Peel, Harry Grant throws it across here to Jack Howarth, and Jack Howarth, he'll get the ball off to Jerome Hughes. They're looking for some space here on the right, but Will Warburg gets it, and then he'll run this ball to the 20 on second tackle now. And Joe Chan gets the ball out to the 30 on third tackle. Yeah, facial fractures, facial injuries, that is brutal for Fa'alongo. Fourth tackle here at the 40. And now after Cameron Munster, he's going to go for a 40-20 attempt here, but it's not going to have the angle on it. Obviously had the distance, but does not have the angle. And Heath Mason picks up the 15 and brings it to the 23 on first tackle. I would argue that Twell is actually probably the most underrated player at the Tigers this year. He's been having such a good year, and for a long time, he was a bit of a plotter where people only enjoyed him in games because they wanted to see if he could score a try, and then obviously scored his try. But he was a plotter for a long time. But he's really become the player that they've needed this year, the Tigers. It's been massive. His offloads have been killing it. His runs have been killing it. He's a massive tackler. He's such an underrated player now. Things do change. And good run here from Sione Fainu. Tigers are probably doing the better with it in this first 7 minutes of this second half. So a 53-metre gain, and Jock Madden now puts that ball to about the 15, where the Tigers will catch it. Kai Pearce-Paul, Alex Seyfarth loses the ball. And now they'll be taken down to the 35, and it's going to be Storm ball here. A lot of the time we're seeing play... Well, to be fair, they did keep this one, but a lot of the time today we have been seeing both these teams get tackled on fifth. Harry Grant to Hugo Peel. That's a really strong run. He'll bring its second tackle now to about the 50. Is anyone tipping the Raiders in the next game? I think someone was trying to tell me yesterday that they were tipping the Raiders, but I said you're off your rocker. Lagan says Alex Twell is carrying the country of Lebanon on his back. Mitchell Moses Moses had a pretty good game on Friday, didn't he? I think Mitchy Moses was pretty good, didn't he? But Alex Twell, yeah, he's been Lebanon's best player this year overall. Munster held the 28. Rays beat them last 2 times. Sure, but have we seen the Raiders this year? Jerome Hughes back underneath. Meaney to Harry Grant. Harry Grant kicks his ball into the corner where Hugo Peel's chasing it. Heath Mason slips over, and this is going to be a dropout. Yep, flipped over. How's Munster look so far? Any decent improvements there? Well, he's got a try in the first 20 minutes. Everyone in the spine's got a try. Farlongo, Jerome Hughes, Harry Grant, and Munster. However, since that first 20 minutes, the Storm have really gone back into their shell. Yeah, and also, Cryptok, you didn't need to put that all in capitals, champion. You didn't need to put that all in capitals. But that is a valid statement that the Raiders have beat the Panthers the last 2 times. But yeah, with that being said, I do think the Panthers should just cleanly win that game. Ethan Strange and Hardy Young back is huge. It is huge, but also they've looked awful with them in the team this year too. But it is still huge. They'll go short ball here, and it will be Jack Howard who catches the ball at the 20. If the Storm score here, I'm calling game over, and I'm calling Fiddy. If the Storm score on this... No, he's lost the ball. I'm telling you, this Melbourne Storm team is not beating the allegations of this season despite this win here today. They're going to challenge this here, Melbourne. They're going to challenge it, but I'm still saying they are not beating the allegations from this season. It still isn't an unbelievable performance overall. So he comes down to Jack Howard. He's got the ball there. Kai Pearce-Paul's hand is on it. You could make an argument for it. It would be soft, but you could make an argument. Kai Pearce-Paul's hand is on it, and he does push the ball out here. Oh, it's... Okay, so... sure, bunker. So that's fine to call it as a knock-on, but he didn't even acknowledge the fact that Kai Pearce-Paul's fingers were on it and do push it away from the hand. I think it would have been a soft call to call that as a penalty to the Storm, but also, bunker, I would like you to at least acknowledge what we just witnessed. I'd like you to at least acknowledge it. Acknowledging it would have been nice. Because, we can all see that Kai Pearce-Paul's hand does go and does give it a slight little push. Again, I don't think that's a penalty. I think it's a soft call if they did call it a penalty. But at least acknowledge it and say that, the fingers aren't... It's a loose carry regardless of the fact that Kai Pearce-Paul's hand is on the ball. Paddy Herbert now is going to bring this ball to the 45 and third tackle. Michael says, Boyd set to extend the wires while rejecting the Rabbits. What, the Rabbitohs were trying to sign Tanner Boyd, were they? Oh, true. Yeah, no, Tan's a loyal man, dude. If the Titans wanted to sign him, I'm telling you, he would have stayed with the Gold Coast. But obviously that wasn't the case, and it was better for both clubs, both parties, in Tanner and also in the Titans. He's a loyal man, so if the Warriors offer him a contract, I know he'll stay. You were talking to the bunker, they don't know shit, the bunker. So fifth tackle, and the Tigers are going to whack this ball up here to about the 10. Nick Meaney, that's going to bounce out the back here. Jerome Hughes gets away. No, he doesn't get away from safe Arth, and it's going to be 1 metre out. No, they're going to say knock on Tigers, are they? Yeah, it's going to be Storm ball at the 10. 30 minutes to go here in the game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. You are right, though, in that relatively sluggish field at the moment, though, Mo. Yeah, knock on there from Sione Fainu, who goes up for it. I just can't believe the Storm have gone away on the attack from Will Warbrick in this game. It's just really surprising when you've got as smart a spine as they have. You've seen it's worked with Will Warbrick already. He's nearly scored a second try when he got the ball, and they haven't gone back to him since. It just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. He could have had, in my opinion, 4 tries today if they would actually... Harry Grant tries to milk a penalty there. I'm still surprised he didn't call it, though, as a 6 again, because at the end of the day, he is still lying in the ruck there, referee. The Storm kicked this ball into the corner where Heath Mason picks it up at the 15. and he will bring it straight out to the 25. Like that from a fullback to run the ball straight rather than sideways. But if the Storm get into the attack in 20 again, if you don't kick the ball at Will Warbrick's side, it will just be insane. Second tackle of the Tigers at 22. Williams says, Tigers would like to get another try. I do agree, but also we know what the Storm are like. Taylor May out to Sione Fainu out in the wing. What? Third tackle here at the 40 for the Tigers. Oh, I wouldn't necessarily say Liam Henry back is huge. Liam Henry helps him, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's like huge. Paddy Herbert, great run, but throws the ball over the sideline. Oh, that gives me PTSD. That gives me PTSD to that. Oh boy. I'm not explaining to the law. If anyone asks me why I have PTSD from Paddy Herbert throwing that ball over the sideline with a flick pass like this, I'm not explaining the law. You can do your research. Because I refuse. I refuse to bring that up. I brought it up, but I refuse to go in depth in regards to it. I think we actually play the Tigers in a couple of weeks. I think it's Titans-Tigers in like 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe because I think when you play the Knights and then maybe the Tigers after that. No, Knights then Manly. Oh, okay, so it's in 5 weeks. Knights, Manly, bye, Broncos, Tigers, yeah. And then we get to beat the Panthers because we're the greatest team of all time. All right, well, second tackle here for the Melbourne Storm, and they're into the attack and half. I think that's a 6 again, I just heard. It is 6 again for Melbourne Storm, and Cameron Munster bring this ball at 35 on first tackle. Okay, please, for the love of God, I beg you, please go back to the side where it was working of Will Warbrick. It really is that simple. They go to the right-hand side now, and it's going to be Joe Chan. The only issue is that Joe Chan's not really going to pass the ball because he's a back rower, and he's now playing the centre because of the injury to Fa'alogo and Nick Meaney going back. So passing's not going to be the go, but kicking is the go. Jerome Hughes is the final Wood to a commando, and he's going to be at the 20 on third tackle. Aspects, don't you start, son. 6 again, Harry Grant. He'll go back to the right. Big, strong run from Cooper Clark, the big boy. Look at the post-contact on him. Look at the post-contact on him. 2 metres away from the line. Tigers, you do not want to lose this by a big margin, otherwise you will keep dropping off spots on points differential. Jerome Hughes, right-hand side. Nick Meaney. Pass the ball, bro. Please pass the ball, Nick Meaney. Second tackle, Jerome Hughes. Knock on by the Tigers. 6 again. They get to Lasati. Lasati at the back now, Joe Chan. It's 0 tackle. And the Storm, surely they score here and end the game. Is this when the Storm would go 5 wins in a row? Well, their next couple of games are actually very doable for that. They've got the Eels next week at Magic Round, and then they've got the Bulldogs, and then I think a bye. So but also the Storm haven't been amazing here today. They've been amazing the first 20 minutes, Serpent, but they haven't been amazing overall. Jerome Hughes, he steps. He's going to get this offload to Harry Grant. Harry Grant goes off to Cooper Clark. Then they get across again. Harry Grant, he kicks his ball over to the corner. Will Warbrick goes up for it, and Will Warbrick will score a try with a kick. What do you fucking have it? What do you know? What do you know? Are you surprised? Will Warbrick scores his second try from a kick today. Unbelievable, unfathomable. I wonder who could have ever called that. I wonder who could have ever called a Will Warbrick try from a kick. Gosh, it's taken him so long to go back to the exact same side where they've already scored a try from a kick. They haven't done it for so long. They finally go back after I've been calling it for like literally 40 minutes. And they score a try immediately. What would you know? What would you know? It's actually quite obvious. Anyone who watches any form of rugby league, even casuals, would have called that. You know Warbrick's good in the air. You know Luke Lallee's not great in the air. They're also done for numbers there, so that works out well. Yeah, exactly right, Jared. Wow, they should do that again. It looks like it works. It might work. It might work, mate. Yeah, jeez. 3-4 here with a get to come. Will Warbrick, his second try of the day. From a kick. Oh, little Busby, unfortunately. You're going to learn. We're going to have to see you in 5 minutes there, champion. We're going to have to see you in 5 minutes. I'm going to read your comment out, but you're going to be saying in 5 minutes because you have said 2 S's in Storm. There is only 1 S in Storm, little Busby. Only 1 S. There is not 2 S's in Storm. I'm also not going to read that comment out because I know you're just trolling. So Nick Meaney is going to get the kick. And he slaps it through for a 32-4. And Fiddy is on. The footy is on. William says, get that scam on Tigers. Nah, you're not on scam, dude. Again, man, you got no Api Psychotomy Sound, no Terrell May, no Jareen Baller, no Adam Dewey, no Samuel Afayanu. You know, no, I'm not putting them on scam. Like, at the end of the day, you're not coming off a fraud alert. If you gave up 50, that's 2 losses in a row of 50 points, though. Adelini Silva says, West Tigers back to 2022. They're just not, though. It's just they've got a lot of injuries. And the Storm are extremely desperate to break a 7-game hoodoo losing streak. And 2 games in a row lost in Melbourne. But I do think Melbourne just pump it from here. I think that's gonna break the wall. And the Storm might just run away with this one now and get to the old 30. Second tackle. Aussie Rob says, hey, mate, a Storm turning their season around or Tigers just missing troops? This game here today has been a bit perplexing because whilst the Storm have been very dominant in that first 20 minutes, outside of that, there's been a lot of similarities with the Storm this season to how they've been. I don't think that the Storm are now back because of this at all. However, this is a good win for them. That could play them into some confident form. And they play the Eels next week. They could win that game. They play the Bulldogs week after and don't start me on the Bulldogs. So they've got a very winnable next 2 weeks. And they're playing at Suncorp where they've got a good record at. Magic round, turn up. But they're missing Farlongo, who is now injured. Warbrick! That's a knock-on from the Tigers. Yep, knock on for the Tigers. Hey, would you look at that, guys? Guess what? They kicked the ball to Warbrick's side. He puts the pressure on. There's a knocker on here from Heath Mason. They're going to challenge it. But either way, they put the pressure on, knock on Heath Mason, but they're going to challenge the Tigers. Funny kicking a Warbrick's side. It's like bringing success. It's a surprise. So, no, I don't think the Storm are back. I need to see definitely more rounds. And again, for the most part of today, outside of that first 15 minutes, this is going to be close. Maybe Warbrick touched this. It's going to be close. I would assume he probably does touch this, actually. I would assume. I just need to see his fingers bounce back. Maybe not. Oh, no, maybe he does. I don't know. I'd like... This one might show it. Yeah, he touches that. That's a knock-on. That's a knock-on. You can see his fingers bend backwards there, his right fingers. The other angle shows it very clearly. This angle doesn't show shit, but the other... Yeah. Yeah, so it is going to be a knock-on here from the Storm. So good challenge from the Tigers, and it'll be Tigers ball here at the 10, but good pressure there from Warbrick regardless. Yeah, who knows what Parramatta will turn up next week against Storm? Who knows what Parramatta will turn up every year, every week, every day, every hour, every 10 minutes, every 3 minutes in a game? You never know. You never know with the old Parramatta. I just don't think... I don't know if I can... I don't know who to tip in that game, really, because I could still see the Eels finding a way to win. People are going to look at this and say Storm are back. I promise you. I promise you people will look at this game and say Storm are back, but they will ignore the fact... Like a lot of people who have tipped the Tigers today, they will ignore how many players the Tigers have out. And also, if you've watched the game here, you would know the Storm have by far not been perfect. They've been a lot better, but they've not been perfect. The Bronx says, wait, what's going on with CHT? I love him, man. What happened? CHT? I think CHT's going to the Cowboys. Is that what you're talking about, Jazz? I think he's signed with the Cowboys, maybe? Fifth tackle now for the Tigers. Am I right there? Or am I thinking of a different thing? They go out to the left-hand side. Taylor May, quick passing. They're away here, the Tigers. They kick this ball through into the corner. And Storm will lose the ball. So it's going to be Tigers ball here at the 10. Jazz says, Annie, absolutely. I'll read Annie's comment first. Annie says, Jazz, Tanner has been good for the Wazzies. He's been unbelievable. He's in the top 10 for Dally M. Tanner was amazing last year in Cup, winning both the New South Wales Cup Premier and the NRL State Premier Championship. He's done so freaking well under Webby and his other coaching staff. No, he has. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. Jerome Luai underneath to Alex Twell, and they're going to be 5 metres away from the line here. First tackle. Tigers, can you get a try here? You're not going to bring yourself back into it, but points differential matters. It very much matters for you with the Cowboys and also the Knights because you're currently losing this game by 28 points. You go from plus 40 to plus 12. The Cowboys are plus 9. The Knights are plus 4. Intercept by the Storm, Will Warbrick. And he'll be taken down to the 10 on first tackle. If you lose this game by another 9 points or more, as in like if the Storm score to get 42 points to 4, you will go into 8th position below both the Cowboys and also the Knights. If you concede another try without you scoring, you will go below the Cowboys. Yeah. Brian says, do you think the Storm start racking some wins to get up this? Yes, but they also haven't been perfect here today at all. If they weren't playing the Tigers, that first 20-minute hot start was great, but I don't know if that would have necessarily worked against a lot of teams. These next couple of weeks could be a bit of a falsity, but like at the very least, the confidence-building win could definitely come from it. However, they definitely have not been perfect here today. Aussie Rob says, boys showed bits of promise at the Titans, didn't realise he was this good. Talon May's away here, Talon May's away here, Talon May's away here, taking down to 50 on first tackle. 20 minutes to go of the game here, folks. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. And don't forget, right after this, we've got the Raiders versus the Panthers to finish off the round before we head off to Magic Round next week. Paddy Herbert, he's going to be at the 40 on second tackle. Jazz, I reckon the Dragons should have a crack at Chanel. We need all the help we can get. Oh, Jazz, yeah, I think isn't he going to the Cowboys or something? CHT off contract at the end of the season has already been rumoured to have been in talks with both Cowboys and Broncos. Well, Broncos have got Jonah Pezzett coming in next year. What, are they already off him, are they? You're already off him there, are you, Brisbane? You got Ezra Mam, you got Jonah Pezzett, and you're already off Jonah Pezzett, are you, for Harris DeVita? I don't think that he'd go to Brisbane knowing that he's not going to probably get the start there. That's the drop ball, but it goes backwards here for the Tigers. They get it across here to Paddy Herbert, and Herbert's going to be 10 metres away from the line, fit tackle, 10 metres away. And Kaipi's pull. Oh, he can't do it. He gets the offload away, though. It's going to hit the grass. They go quickly. That's a drop ball, but it goes backwards. Alex Twell. And that's going to be fit tackle at 10. Gee whiz, that was close. That was close there. Nothing announced re Chanel Harris DeVita yet. Warriors are still in talks with Metcalf's management, apparently over clarification on his role at the club. Well, it's a very important question because when Metcalf and Boyd have been together, it hadn't seemed to be working. But then again, that was immediately from an injury. But if Harris DeVita is going, then his role at the club realistically should just move into that 6 and Tanner Boyd should be the 7 going forward. If Harris DeVita is leaving at the end of the year. Nick Maney brings it third tackle to the 33. Harry Grant, he'll go to the left-hand side to Munster. Munster at the back into Utukamanu. And Utukamanu takes this ball to the 50 on fourth tackle. That's where I saw CHT was already signed to the Cowboys. I swear I saw that too. That's why I was just assuming that. A little bit of a run here from Howard. Gets the offload away too. Sean Bloor, Jerome Hughes. And Joe Chan, no, Trent Loiero, Nick Meaney, they've got numbers here, they've got numbers here. Joe Chan's right through, Joe Chan's right through. It's a great run there from Chan. He stepped around Heath Mason, but he's taken out of the 10 on fit tackle. Spread the ball left, please. Jerome Hughes, Harry Grant right through. Gets the offload away, Jerome Hughes, short ball. Wow, good scramble from the Tigers. Good scramble from the Tigers. Passing the ball to Trent Loiero for a try there is never going to happen. Trent Loiero has never scored a try. Next, I said, I don't think he will go to the Cowboys. We just re-signed Clifford. You know more about that than I would. You did just re-sign Clifford. However, the Broncos have got Pezzett and Ezra Mam. Renault's going at the end of the year. Broncos are in a little bit of trouble, actually. They are in a bit of trouble. I know they've got Barnett, but it's not really replacing Payne Haas, and Barnett's not exactly a young, fresh chicken. Yeah, I still wouldn't be surprised if it was the Cowboys if they wanted to go away. Oh, but they did just re-sign Clifford. But again, I did hear that it was like pretty close to a done deal with the Cows. But again, you'd know more as a Cowboys fan than I would. Is Farlong go out for the remainder of the match? Yeah, HIA, but also some facial fractures or something I did hear. So he's out for the rest of the game for sure, yeah. And I doubt whether he'll play next week against the Parramatta Eels. Little Bus is Tanner Boy for Queensland 7. Would love to see it, mate. Obviously, I know Tan, I've seen what he's gone through, and I'm so proud of him for what he's been able to achieve at the Warriors. But no, I think Sam Walker, it's his time. It should be Sam Walker. I'm going to post a YouTube short about that this week too. I feel like it just has to be Sam Walker. You have to go with a guaranteed 7. Sam Walker was meant to be the guy after Cherry Evans. Obviously, that wasn't the case because Sam Walker was injured. Plus, also, they decided to mould Tom Dearden into the 7 to partner Munster. That worked, but now Dearden's out. It's still last year for the Tigers, so I'm pretty confirmed that, in my opinion, that's a knock on. That's a drop ball there from the Storm. That's poor from Hugo Peel. And that'll be Tigers ball here at the 10. So yeah, I would go Sam Walker. He's a 7. Munster is going to be the 6th. They need the experience there. I think that could be absolutely fruitful with Walker and Munster. Could Taintal Picky make New South Wales Blue team? No. No. Way too much depth in that position. No way. No way. Tigers now going to be at the 5. You're going to remember, think about all the fullbacks in New South Wales. It's just nowhere near happening. Jake, are the Storm decent now? No, bro. They've had a good game today against a very injured Tigers team, but no, there's a long way to go to prove this Storm team because they have not been perfect today at all. Jerome Luai, they've had stanzas. They've had stanzas in the game. Second tackler at the 5. And they go to the right-hand side off to Jock Madden. Kai Paul, 5 metres away from the line, third tackle. Yeah, it's time for Sam Walker to have a crack at Origin. Maybe it's what you need. Yeah, exactly. Elijah, what? Storm are very lucky to win this game? Are you serious? What do you mean Storm are very lucky to win this game? That's not what I'm saying. The Tigers are going to score, though. It's going to be Luke Lalali'i in the corner. It's 32-80 with the hit to come. The Storm are not very lucky to win this game. They led 20-0 in the first 20 minutes. You're completely misunderstanding what I'm saying. The Storm are well deserving of this game. They've been the better team this game. There is excuses for the Tigers in this game. However, they're not in any world lucky. They've still ultimately won this game and scored 30-plus points whilst doing so. But it's not even been close from the outset. How could you say the Storm have been lucky to win this game? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that this is not prime-time Melbourne Storm. Like, the score suggests that they could be back, but it's not. If the way we've watched this game, I wouldn't say this Storm team is necessarily back. But how could you say the Storm are very lucky to win this game? What are we watching? What are we watching? Jazz says that spirit that Tanner possesses was created in Penrith, New South Wales, where he was born. Jazz, are we going to do this? Are we going to be doing this again, Jazz? Jazz, are we going to do this? I'm just going to ask, I'm going to politely ask you, are we going to do this again? Because we can play, baby. We can play in regards to the where players have been born over the years in New South Wales, Queensland, and up here Samoa. But I'm not gonna do that unless you want to play. So they will kick this conversion on the sidelines, 32-10. Did Clark get subbed off yet? I'm sure he would have been. I'll have to have a look in a second. But good kick there from Jock Madden. So it's a 22-point game in favour of the Storm. Who's playing fullback with far long off? Yeah, it's Nick Meaney and not Sean Bloor. Joe Chan's in the centre. Jazz, we're not going to do it, bro. I'm really taking a piss. I cannot be bothered going through all the players. Like, I'll just start off with Peter Sterling. Like, we're not going to go through all the players, and we're not going to start. If we go through this, then we're just going to start naming the entire country of Apia, the entire country of Samoa, and the birth of players in Apia. Or Nuku'alofa, mind you, over the years, in Tonga, and again, Toowoomba. And also you've had a player that was born in Cairns, and also you've had a player that was born in New Zealand. You know, so the point of the matter is that this argument doesn't work. New South Wales fans always love to say, like Greg Inglis or Tina Fa'asumalawi and the likes, and it's just like, lads, both teams have had players born in different countries, let alone the state, and then both teams have had many players play for New South Wales who were born in Queensland and born in Queensland, play for New South Wales, and born in New South Wales play for Queensland. The argument just doesn't work. It never has worked. It's really strange, actually, from New South Wales fans, because they have like this weird sense of superiority in regards to this argument because of Greg Inglis, but they really specifically ignore Peter Sterling, who was born in Toowoomba. You know, like it just doesn't make sense to me why New South Wales fans have this like sense of superiority, like they've got the winning point of this argument, and it's like neither side has the winning point of the argument, because guess what? Origin has never, at any stage, in all 120 odd years of rugby league history here in this country, out of the left-hand side here, and that's going to be a try time for Taylor May. Try time for Taylor May. It's 32-14 here with the kid to come. This is not a perfect Storm team. In 120 plus years of rugby league, Origin has never, ever, ever, ever been about where you're born. This is just fans talking for the sake of talking, because it has never at any stage in history been about where you were born. Peter says, do you think Clark will make the Kiwis team at the end of the year? Yeah, I think he was in the Kiwis team last year. Aaron Clark's in the team every year nowadays, isn't he? This is good for your points differential here, Tigers fans. 32-14 here. 32-14 with a kick to come. Well, at least it's only 16. It's maybe about to be 16 points now rather than what was blown up before. A little late to start trying. Yeah, well, this is what the Storm do, but this is what the Storm do. I think he's talking Clark from the Storm. Oh, not Aaron Clark. Cooper Clark, no way. If you're talking about Cooper Clark, then no. If you're talking about Aaron Clark, then definitely. Oh, Caleb. Oh, not Cooper Clark. Caleb Clark. It is Cooper Clark, isn't it? Caleb Clark? Are you talking about Cooper Clark here from the Storm? Then I'd say no way. His name's Cooper, not Caleb, no. And they will get the kick. So 32-16, 16-point game with 12 minutes to go here at the game. Aaron Clark, first one pick for New Zealand. Yeah, definitely. Mo says, love that the game has picked up a bit. Yeah, it's good to see the Tigers at least, showing some fight here and giving it a crack. Showing some fight and giving it a damn well crack. Like the game is over, but you don't want to lose by. Points differential is very important for him right now. Jimmy's the Tigers have the time. The Tigers are not winning this game, bro. 12 minutes to go of the game. 16 points of difference. The Storm will kick this ball off. And it will be Jerome Luai who gets his ball off to Bunty Afor, and he'll be at the 15. There's an entire chance that it could be a 1 or 12er, but this is to the point of how this is still not. The Storm are back. The Storm are not back at the moment. Second tackle, Tigers at the 30. Jerome Luai off to Sione Fainu, and Fainu's third tackle here at the 40. Yeah, and this is what the commentary's saying the same thing essentially too. They're just not openly saying what I'm saying. They're talking about how when the Storm led 20-0 in 14 minutes, you're like, well, this should be 60. This could be 70. This could be like 50 at halftime. The Storm in recent years would have done that. They've done it to the Warriors many times, but they didn't do that, and the game, fell back into just the same mediocrity. The penalty to the Storm here, they'll like that. It fell into the same mediocre Storm we've seen throughout this season. So whilst you'll be feeling good for a win here, it is by no means a game right now where the Storm should be incredibly proud of. You'll be happy with the 2 points, and you'll be happy with how you looked in that first 20, but you fell asleep in this game. Realistically, you should have just gone on to 50. You should have absolutely annihilated this Tigers team. Everything was going your way. You were dominating, and yet you've allowed the game to get back to 16. You've won the game, but there's still been a lot of inaccuracy about the Storm team today. 10 minutes to go here of the game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Sean Bloor brings it out to the 45 on second tackle on the Tigers side of the field. Everyone says, if Tigers aren't already scammers, they would be if they lose one more game. No, they're not, man. Look at how many injuries they have. How are we really slapping into the Tigers with no Dream Buller, no Apisai Kotowai-Sau, no Samwala Fainu, no Terrell May, no Dream Buller? What are we doing? No Adam Dewey. We're really trying to heap shit on the Tigers when they've actually, they've been beaten here and still relatively beaten well, but there's no way they should be facing this kind of criticism for this loss. Fourth tackle now at the 5. Harry Grant. Noah says, you do love shit talking. Okay, well, please, Noah, please tell me what I'm wrong with. Cameron Munn's a great try, though. That's a really nice try there from Munster. The defence just completely open. That's a double there for Cameron Munster. Well, Noah, I put it back onto you then, Noah. So if you disagree with what I'm saying here right now, please feel free. I look forward to hearing what you have to say. And I'm being honest here and genuine. Please, I want to hear what you believe I'm wrong with in regards to my thought process in regards to today's game. That's all I ask. If you think that I'm just into shit talking here, I'm not being honest with what I'm saying, feel free to debate it. So 36-16 with the kick to come. Gerard says, what are the chances the Tigers come back? They're not going to be coming back here today, mate. But I don't even know if I can say they've done well. Like, they've done okay considering how many injuries they've had. All things considered, the Tigers did a decent presentation. Yeah, it's not they weren't good, but they did decent considering the amount of injuries. Can somebody who knows something tell me if the Raiders 9.5 is a lock? Raiders 9.5 being a lock? Raiders 9.5 is a lock. As in plus 9.5? I don't know if that's a lock at all. It was yeah, but every team loses key players, and even with 5 players gone, I still believe the Tigers should have won this. Why? Why do you believe the Tigers still should have won this with all those players gone? Peter says, I've heard a lot of complaints about the refs stopping play briefly when the ball carrier has dominated the tackler, putting the tackler in an offside position. Happened 3 times with the Titans Roosters. Sure. Yeah. 36-22 is the top score the Tigers can get today. Well, yeah, the Storm still have a chance of 50 bomb now. 7.5 minutes to go here. Looking forward to it, Noah. Looking forward to it. Still waiting to hear what you disagree with. Noah says, are we making finals? No. Hold on, Noah. You've said you do love shit talking. Well, Noah, I'm wondering what you're disagreeing with. So I do love shit talking. I'll be honest with you. I agree with you. But also, that's suggesting that I'm saying something incorrect here today just to take the piss. And I'm not taking the piss at all with what I'm saying. And if you disagree with something, please let me know. There's a penalty here to the Storm for a tackle in the air. But Manly fan, yeah, I said last night, if you watched my stream last night, I said that the Manly Seagulls look good right now. I'm not buying into all this hate that I saw online on social media saying, oh, it was just a Brisbane Broncos team who's injured. It's like, well, the Broncos still won games when they were injured. But they won 4 games in a row against who? And then they had a really positive performance against Panthers last week, even though they lost. And then they won a good game against the Broncos yesterday, and the Broncos were shit. But Manly were also really good. So it's like, yeah, I'm pretty confident in Manly making the 8 right now. Pre-season, there is no argument that Manly should have been a bottom 4 team. And also, mind you, that's with Seabold. So to predict Manly for a bottom 4 position pre-season makes complete sense because in the first 4 rounds, they were winless in the first 4 rounds or 3 rounds, and they looked absolutely god-awful. And that was under Anthony Seabold. Now they've got a different coach. People aren't going to be tipping them for the bottom 4, but it made sense, and it was probably 100% going to be happening if Anthony Seabold stayed that coach. They probably would have even battled the Dragons for last position if they had kept Seabold. So you are able to change your opinion in regards to that. But the point is that, yeah, Manly look good right now. I've got them, as we speak, in the top 8, and I don't know who comes in 4th, because right now I'm pretty happy with Panthers, Roosters, and Warriors overall. Storm second, tackling at the 38. I'm happy with what they're doing in the top 3, and they are separated from the pack a little bit here, especially with the Tigers losing this game. It now separates them by 4 points from everybody else. So I don't know who gets that 4th spot, but Manly could be there, the Knights could be there. The Tigers fully healthy could have been there, but I don't think so now because they've still got quite a few injuries for quite a while. 3rd tackle leave at the Storm at the 35. There's a lot of teams that that's a knock on there from Hugo Peel. A lot of teams that could be there. No, it's a win from Melbourne. It's still a win. Sure, it isn't the most clean, but it can start a momentum. So, correct. So, sure, it isn't the most clean. So, exactly what I'm saying. And I know you're replying to me here in regards to what you disagree with. But if you've listened to what I've said before the game, the Storm win this game by a big margin. It can get them on a roll to go and play the Eels next week, which is a very winnable game. And then the Bulldogs game the week after, and the Bulldogs are the second biggest scammers of all time behind the Sharks. The next 2 games are very winnable, even the Storm, and they can definitely go on a bit of a run. That doesn't mean that they can hide away from the criticism of how they've performed in this game. A win is a win. Take the 2 points. And like I said, they're very happy to take the 2 points. But Craig Bellamy right now, look at it from Craig Bellamy's perspective. I'm telling you, he's not smiling. He's happy and content that they're not losing this game and they're going to win this game to the point of getting the 2 points, and they've lost 7 games in a row coming into this. But that doesn't mean you can't be critical of how they've actually gotten through it as well. They should have still won this game by 50. They should have still won this game by even 60. Again, they were up 20-0 in 14 minutes in this game and then went to sleep, and now it's been really patchy throughout. And you look at the defense at halftime. Do you remember a time in the last couple of years that the Storm have been an 84% defensive effective tackle percentage? No, that's an awful category. 85% to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker, and 90% above is essentially perfect. The Storm, again, were in the awful category. So they're taking on a team here that have a lot of players out, a lot of injuries, and had been beaten by the Sharkies by 50 last week. Well, they're not probably going to get 50 here at the Melbourne Storm. So the critique is still valid. So while you say it's shit talking, It's like, I do love a bit of shit talking, but I don't believe that this is shit talking because I think you can understand the perspective that I'm coming from there. We expect great things from the Melbourne Storm. They have Craig Bellamy. They have the best spine of the damn world competition on paper. Yeah, they may be a little bit weaker on the outside. They are still missing. They are still missing Xavier Coates. They are still also missing Elias Katoa. Unfortunately, he may never come back. I would love to see him come back, but there's a potential he may not. So Xavier Coates is the main one specifically that they're missing in regards to a return. I think he comes back in a couple of weeks' time. We expect really good things from this Melbourne Storm team. They've been in the last 2 grand finals. Just because they get a win for the first time in 2 months, this is the first time since the Dragons game that they won. And also the Dragons game wasn't spectacular, but they got the 2 points. The Eels game was really good where they absolutely pumped them. Jerome Hughes at the 40, kicks this ball out to Will Warbrick. He catches it, gets the ball back on the inside. They throw the ball again. It's going to hit the referee here. Harry Grant still going here. Harry Grant to the right-hand side to Lisati offloads it. I think it's Storm ball at 10. Yeah, it's going to be Storm ball at 10. Tigers drop the ball. No, it's as big a scam as the Dogs and Broncos. No way. No way. Sharks are number 1. Dogs to be number 2. Broncos are heavily injured, but sure, I can hear the argument, but no way are the Sharks not number 1, bro. Sharks should have won that game 13 plus yesterday against the Rabbitohs. This is what they do. They have the team there, but they always disappoint. Yeah, sure, they find a way to get to the prelim, but are you convinced in them when they get to the prelim? Ibn says, the only reason I believe Tigers have been showing signs of fraud, which I've been slightly agreeing with for weeks now, is losing against a Storm team who has played abysmally the entire season, regardless of 5 injuries, and losing to the Sharks is just... So you're more so referring to the Sharkies game, really. You're more so, I guess, using that Sharks game. But I just feel like an NRL team going up against an essentially New South Wales Cup team, you are going to see this kind of hit them for 6 here. What a chaotic sequence. Yeah, pretty chaotic there, Mo. They are challenging this here, the Tigers. They're going to say ball pass backwards there from Melbourne. And then Taylor May's going to touch that for a knock-on. Damn, so just make sure, if shit-talking the Tigers, make sure your team is beating them on the table. No, like at the end of the day, I'm a Titans fan and my team is shithouse and we're below. That doesn't mean you can't shit-talk a team. Like, I'll shit-talk you as a Warriors fan. I'll just say 66-0 or 66-6 or whatever it is. That doesn't mean that I think that we're better than you. But, like, you're still open to shit-talking. But just know you're going to cop it yourself. But I also know how to defend myself from my position. But I go back to Noah here. And I say, do you understand now why what I'm saying is? I know how you're taking it in a perspective that I'm shit-talking, but do you understand at least the perspective that is being spoken about from my side in regards to why, whilst it's, that's an easy one for Adsi Valley. Lisati, try time. 42-16 with the kick to come. 50 bomb is still on here if they get this kick. Lisati will score. Do you at least see the perspective of why it's not shit-talking and it is just being observant about what we're seeing here from this Storm? They are pulling away now, and we did keep saying that they should pull away in this game. This is what should be expected here. This is what should be expected here. Is the ladder you have there live ladder, or do Manly move to 14 points? Have I not updated the ladder, have I? No, this is the live ladder. No, they've played 9. Yeah. They've played 9, so they're on 12. I think. Actually, no, maybe not. Let me hold on. I'm pretty certain they're in 5th. I think that is the live ladder. I would have updated it before the game started here today, bro. Yeah, no, they are on 12 points. Let's start there with a try time. Panthers by 9 lock. I'm pretty confident in the Panthers, but some people are tipping the Raiders here today because Huddy Young and Ethan Strange are back. Oh no, what's Aspect? Both players look a bit injured, God bless them. What does Aspect say? Oh, Aspect says Tigers suck. Yeah, he is a Dragons fan saying that, damn 11. He is. Not everyone having an opinion is shit talking. Let's just throw that out there. If you have thoughts, gee whiz, there we go. Okay, we're unmuted now. Yeah. I saw quickly. We're back now. Senile is an absolute fraud, our worst coach ever. I think you're talking about Seabold. Senile is funny that it corrected to that. 44-16 to the Storm, by the way. We're 6 points away from a potential footy bomb and 2 minutes to go here of the game. Yes, and I said, would you classify it as shit talking for me to say that I said when Seabold was signed that was the worst signing you're ever going to have as a coach in your history? Because if you go back into my content, I said that. I said that, no, it's the microphone. I'm buying a new microphone tomorrow, Jared. I said at the time that Anthony Seabold was going to be the worst signing coach in the history of Manly Seagulls. And would you have it? That's truthful, though. So what's untruthful about what I've said there, Noah? So you say that's truthful. So what's untruthful about what I've said? Third tackle here with the Storm at the 35. Because it's not untruthful to suggest that the Storm haven't been perfect here today. They are blowing it away now. Munster gets his ball here to the 40. It's not untruthful to suggest that. Look at some of the statistics. They've been a lot better, but it's not untruthful to say that. Storm just needed to win, but I'm not too confident about them beating the Eels next week, regardless of their round 1 win. I'm still pretty confident that the Storm beat the Eels, but it's not like a guarantee by any means. 58 seconds to go here. I don't think they're going to get the 50. Traylon says, bloody hell, Tigers. Yeah, unfortunately, just too many injuries for them. Just too many injuries for them here today. He said it's not a win. No, I did not say it's not a win. What are you talking about? In no world have I ever said that it's not a win. What are you listening to? That is simply just not true. That is untruthful, what you've just said here. I encourage you to go back and watch the entirety of the conversation that we were talking about, and I guarantee you 100% that I've never said the words, it's not a win. What on earth are you talking about? I think you've completely misunderstood everything that we've said at some point for you to have that thought process. I think you've completely misunderstood it because the words, it's not a win, would never have come out of my mouth in regards to the Storm here today. Never. Taylor May with a nice little... No, that wasn't Taylor May, that was Luke Laloliti. Fit tackle here at the 40. Reckon Seeds will get another shot. Yeah, the Dragons is crazy. So the Tigers here at the 40, and they will kick this ball down to the 33, where Nick Meaney's just going to take the tackle, and that's the end of the game here, folks. The Melbourne Storm will win 44 points to 16, and they look at Craig Bellamy. You know, like he's content, but look at him. He's still not exactly happy. He'll take the win. He'll take the 2 points, but there's still a lot to work on here with the Melbourne Storm. They'll take the 44 points. They'll understand the context behind it too. And they play the Parramatta Eels next week at the Magic Round against the Parramatta Squeals. That's going to be an interesting one because the Eels had a good win against the Cows, even though there was a lot to work on there too. But they won 33-30. Storm win here 44-16. So yeah, we'll see how they do pan out next week. I do want to see another week before I start to ride them home in regards to being back overall. But anyway, guys, we'll jump through to the next game, which is the Canberra Raiders playing host to the Penrith Panthers. Obviously, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new around here, and I will see you in 5 minutes' time for the next game. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.